From the rolling hills of the Finger Lakes region of New York, the NASCAR Busch Series makes its annual stop at Watkins, Glen.
Third-generation standout Dale Earnhardt Jr. sits boldly atop the point standings, with friend and series rival Matt Kenseth close behind. The ovals have been good for both young standouts, enough to make a father proud. But just ahead lies a bump in the road where neither has enjoyed much success. Last year at the Glen, Little Lee thought he had a win in his sights, but after a costly bobble, finished 8th. Kenseth missed his target in the chicane and dropped him back to 17th. Today, the series makes its first and only visit to a road course, and the pressure is on. Both Earnhardt and Kenseth were outstanding in qualifying, but now they need to keep up that momentum. They want to be standouts at the Glen.
Two drivers who love to turn the wheel both left and right are Ron Fellows and Mike McLaughlin. Magic Shoes lit him up in '97, becoming the first Busch Series regular ever to win here at the Glen. Then last year, Fellows dialed up his road racing expertise to dominate the 200-mile event. It was a Canadian's first and only Busch Series win. But Mike McLaughlin was his closest challenger, and he loves racing here at the Glen. This is home, and no matter what Mike does today, he will go home a hero. But for Ron Fellows, it's about defending your territory. He's a road racer. He won the Craftsman Truck Series event yesterday. And just think what his sports car buddies will say if he doesn't win here today. So whose turf is it anyway? Well, we'll find out in 200 miles here at Watkins Glen.
Today, ESPN is live from Thunder Road in South Central New York for round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series. It's the Lysol 200 from historic Watkins Glen International. Take a look at the championship points chase just past the halfway mark now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in a familiar spot, 64 markers in front of Matt Kenseth. Then it's Jeff Green, Elton Sawyer, Todd Bodine, Jace Keller, Jeff Purvis, Mike McLaughlin, and Casey Atwin, Dave Blaney rounding out the top 10. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed alongside Jeremy Dale. You've already met our two pit reporters, Dave Burns and Amy East. And as we get ready for today's race, let's take a look at our Suzuki starting grid, because on the point for the second day in a row, he had it yesterday in the truck race. He's got it again. Ron Fellows with another record run. Take a look on down the top 15. Pick out your favorite driver. In the second group, in number 24, a historic moment, the 516th race in NASCAR Busch Series history, and Bill Lester becomes the first African-American to earn a starting spot, qualifying 24th, and our congratulations to Bill. There is the rest of this Suzuki starting grid. Jeff Fuller, Butch Miller making the move from the trucks over to the Busch Series. Todd Bodine with a real tough qualifying all the way back in 33rd, but we expect him to move up. He did much better in the last practice session. Let's take a look at the race analysis right now, as we have a total of 82 laps, just a touch over 200 miles. The purse over $601,000. Pit window anywhere between 32 and 38 laps. Some of the teams say if we get a few laps of yellow, they may try and do it on one stop. The race record held by Terry Labonte back in 1996. And Chevrolet has won 6 of the 8 races at Watkins Glen.
And 5 onboard cameras today. The number 40, Butch Miller in the Channel Lock Chevrolet. And the number 43, Shane Hall in the Central Tractor Chevrolet, starting 30th. Number 34 is Mike McLaughlin in the Gould's Pump Chevrolet, starting 7th on the grid. And number 1, Randy LaJoie in the Bob Evans Chevy. He'll be starting 2nd. And on the pole is Ron Fellows, number 87 in the Bell Mobility Chevrolet.
So as they make their way down towards turn 10, that's the next to last corner. And on their way towards the green flag here, the lights are out on the pace truck. We can tell you yesterday, if you weren't with us for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Fellows so far has hit a home run every time at bat. He won the pole and the race yesterday, and he's got the pole here and could make history by becoming the first ever to win a truck race and a Busch race in the same weekend.
That's true, Marty, but that race did not come easy. He had to catch and pass Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace did a fantastic job yesterday, but Ron Fellows really had to earn that race. It was very hard fought.
44 cars getting ready to take the green flag here in Thunder Road. They're slowing way down as they come through the final corner, turn 11. And the bridge is where you can accelerate. The green is not yet. Round 17 is now underway.
Fellows with a great jump down over Randy LaJoie into turn 1.
Well, everybody is concerned about the race line being very slick when you get off of it. That's lime right there. On board with Ron Fellows, and boy, look at how quickly he pulls away from LaJoie.
And you can hear a big lift on the throttle going up the hill through the S's. Cold tires on this first lap. As you said, Marty, the racetrack, some problems yesterday in the later parts of the truck race, and the racetrack breaking up a little bit, and they did put some line down overnight.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. all over the back bumper of Randy LaJoie. Here he comes. You're on board with LaJoie. Through the inner loop. That's line.
There's a bunch there in the inner loop, and then you'll see it down the hill as they come down the hill. Right about here, they've laid a lot of line down here, so it can be very dusty in these early laps.
Well, right there, the 57 car, Jason Keller, went off and hit the guardrail hard yesterday. Destroyed his primary car. He's in a backup and had to go to the back of the field. So he's got a long way to go to get up into the front position. As you can see, this 44 car field making its way. In fact, let's get an update on that 57 from Dave Burns.
Well, it's a great story of teamwork for Progressive Motorsports, Marty. They have two teams here, Jason Keller in the 57 and Jeff Green in the 32 Kleenex car. Yesterday afternoon, they found that the car they were going to borrow from Amick Motorsports did not have a seat configuration that would work for Jason Keller. Instead, they pulled out their own backup car, the car from South Boston Speedway, their short track car. They spent 20 hours on it, every team member working, including Jeff Green, the driver, and they got the thing done and put Jason in the field today.
So the teamwork pays off. He's in the show, but right now trying to play catch-up. He is running in 42nd position. The man at the point is Ron Fellows. Right behind him, Randy LaJoie. Then there's Dale Jr. And in fourth spot, Matt Kenseth. Rounding out our top five is Baldwin, Jack Baldwin.
Baldwin coming under some pressure now as they head for the inner loop. And Kenseth took a run at Earnhardt down into turn one. He was right on him, but couldn't make the pass stick and actually lost touch with Earnhardt a little bit. There's a new piece of pavement there. They've repaved this racetrack, and they added some more pavement there at the exit of the loop. And these drivers still using every bit of road.
The last lap was at 106 miles an hour. That is well below the qualifying. Whoa, lighten up the right front, the number one of Randy LaJoie. We'll get a better idea of the speeds. Coming across the line this time, 110 for our race leader. Stay with us. We're back with a lot more. We've got 82 laps here at Watkins Glen at the Lysol 200. Ron Fellows is at the point.
What's going on with Little E?
Okay, Little E slowed for a while, guys. Okay, I do have billboards. Okay, let's try and get those. Oops, I'm sorry. Well, we made it clean through the first segment, guys.
Only about 15 more to go.
Keller's all the way back to 44th. And is he in the pits?
Time on that. I'm wondering if Earnhardt didn't just miss a gear or something.
Yeah, he just went around Sprague.
Yeah, we're on it.
He got high.
He locked the right front.
Yeah, Earnhardt went. He
spun. He
spun it.
Okay. Hey, have you got LaJoie's on board looking out the back on that?
Okay, Earnhardt Jr.'s now running 11th,
okay.
Gang.
Quick spin. I saw him lock the right front going in there.
Oh, he got off that line. It's slick. Curtis Markham right in front of him. Round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series on ESPN is being brought to you today by Holiday Inn Express, the smart choice for travelers who want to stay smart. By Amoco Ultimate, you expect more from a leader, and you get it. And by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. See the incredible new 1999s at your dealer now. Now you just see our race leader, Ron Fellows, and what happened to third place, Dale Earnhardt Jr.? Well, he has dropped back to 11th after a spin at this very corner the last time around. There you see him. In fact, he has moved up into 10th now. He just got around Curtis Markham.
And he ran into some problems down into turn 1. And this is on the run down into 1. He's fairly close to LaJoie. Watch, he locks the right front, and he's already wide. And you can see he goes out of the frame, but when he reappears in the frame, he's going to be in the wrong place on the road. He probably spun the car. I don't think there's any way he didn't spin the car and end up down there, and he lost a bunch of positions.
He dropped all the way back to 12th, has worked his way back into 10th right now. He just got around Curtis Markham. And you want to talk about the man who's at the top? Well, this could be a point stopper here at Watkins Glen. In 2 races, he started his average is about 10, but look at that finish. His average is 23rd. His best was 8, and he's only led 4 laps here at Watkins Glen. So the road course, the only one of the season, could be a key turning point here in the second half of the campaign.
Well, and he gave Ron Fellows a great run last year, and we saw it in the top of the show. A little miscue at turn 1 last year cost him a bunch of positions, but he was doing a great job on the road course last year here at Watkins Glen.
Getting a peek now at Randy LaJoie, who is running in second, and he's off the course. He got out into the marbles, get through the gravel pit. If you get stuck, you're dead meat. And he got out, but can he get back safely on track?
And there'll be tons of cars coming here. There will be a whole line of cars coming by Randy LaJoie. Look at this, it's stacking these guys up.
Andy Santerre in the 47 had to slow down, or he would have gotten right into the back end of him, so it's going to cost Santerre some spots.
And keep in mind, LaJoie here now has a lot of debris on those tires from going through that gravel trap, so he's got to take it easy down into the inner loop.
In fact, we've known guys getting some of that pea gravel up into the brakes, up into the cylinders.
Now down into 1, and this is not unlike what we saw happen to Dale Earnhardt Jr. He just gets in there too hot, locks that right front. See, he's out of the groove there. He's wide of the racing line, and there's not much he can do. Earnhardt Jr. spun the car, but LaJoie goes back to the throttle and drives it through that pea gravel because he knows if he gets stuck in there, he's done. He's definitely going down a lap.
Happened several times yesterday. Now we're back watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting around another couple of cars. In fact, there is the number 1 of LaJoie. He has dropped back to about 12th place on the race course. In fact, that's his best finish here at Watkins Glen, a 12th back in 1994.
Yeah, in yesterday's truck race, a couple of the trucks that went off in the pea gravel got those little rocks stuck up in the shift mechanisms and actually had to come in and track.
The 37 has made it to pit lane. Kevin Grubb in the Timberwolf Chevy. He started 14th, but they've got a problem in the right rear of the car. Meanwhile, no problems for Ron Fellows as he is running well up front. In fact, his margin is now up to 6 seconds over second place. Now that 38 car has just come out of the pit, so Glen Allen Jr. is a lap down. Kenseth in the 17 is actually your second place runner.
And Kenseth right now about 5.9 seconds behind Ron Fellows. So he will begin to lose touch visually with Ron Fellows, and that's always discouraging.
Matt last year led 7 laps but ended up 17th, and back in 97 he had a clutch problem, ended up 36. There's one guy that may be a player and a spoiler in this mix. Jack Baldwin running here for the first time with the Busch cars. Baldwin in the Zippo Monte Carlo, his 4th start ever in the series. His first came back in 1994 in Atlanta when he finished 23rd.
And that is the car that Boris Said drove last year, so that is a good race car, no question about it, that Jack Baldwin is in today.
And you got a quick Luke right behind as Dave Blaney in the 93 is trying to close on him. Stay with us. We've got a lot more coming your way here at Watkins Glen.
You're catching him.
Okay, Junior's back up to 6, so he's moving. He may be your best car to watch right now. Who else is moving? Where's and the 4 car, Purvis.
64 is moving.
Purvis.
One car straight through the inner loop.
Purvis and John Preston. Okay. Yellow, full yellow.
This will be a quick caution. This will be very quick, Jill.
Purvis does not like this track.
Well, that car's not in the gravel.
That one is.
No, it's not.
He can't move. They're going to have to tow him out of there.
Yeah, but that's just grass.
The inner loop, though.
Yeah, it can move. But he won't be really slow.
Okay.
X Games version 5.0 launches this June. This summer's hottest competition delivers attitude, amplitude, speed, and big air. ESPN will bring the aerial assault to the city by the bay, San Francisco, starting June 27th. 8 days of the world's greatest masters who don't just defy gravity, they control it. X Games 1999. This ain't the summer of love.
And for all you guys that are into the X Games, all you dudes and dudettes from San Francisco, well, it starts today. ESPN 2, it'll also be on ESPN and ABC. So we've got you covered from today through July 5th. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of Go Network, go.com. Street Luge is my favorite. I love those guys. Man, they fly. We are under a full course caution here on lap number 8, and that's the reason why. You're looking at Jeff Purvis, and you know, one of his crew members told me yesterday, he says, boy, Jeff just does not have any luck at this track. Take a look at what happens.
This is down into the inner loop, one of the fastest parts of the racetrack, and it looks like the car just dropped a wheel there off in the braking zone and ended up getting sideways. You drop a wheel in the braking zone, it totally unstabilizes the car.
The 64 is John Preston. You can see the damage on Purvis. Give you an idea how tough it's been for Jeff. He has finished 32nd last year, 25th in 96, and 36th in 95. And it looks like it's going to be another tough week at Watkins Glen for Jeff Purvis. Stay with us. We're going to take another break. We'll be back. Ron Fellows is still leading the Lysol 200. Careful. Mike. What happened?
I would have liked to have seen that replay. There was time to do that, and I should have looked at it.
When we get back to the 1 car, I'm going to tell you probably why Randy went off. Not because he's a bad racer, but because he did some testing here. It's all looking like follow the leader, guys, as far as pitting goes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all they're just saying. When the leaders come in.
Yeah, well, hey, guys, this is exactly what we talked about yesterday, which is right around lap 10,
Yep,
if they could get in, top up, and then one stop it from there.
The 17 definitely will do 2 stops.
But we have some cars that are also going to go 1 stop to the middle of the race.
Right. Like the 17 says that points are too important, they're only going to make.
Right.
They're going to go 2 stops.
You got to make a call right
Exactly.
now.
But this is the perfect time to stop.
Okay.
Sean. I'm heading back to DB's pit. Blaney.
Sean,
Blaney.
I will be
Okay.
87.
I can actually...
Marty Reed along with Jeremy Dale, Amy Easton, Dave Burns in pit lane. We're at the Lysol 200, and that is Jeff Purvis on the hook. We are under our first caution of the day. Ron Fellows is our race leader. He's led every lap so far, and yesterday, if you were with us for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, well, you know the story. If you weren't, let's show it to you. going into turn number 1, late in the race, just about 5 laps to go. He gets underneath Mike Wallace and goes to take his second truck win here at Watkins Glen. There he is climbing out and celebrating. And so far, he is the man to beat all weekend long. In fact, let's show you the top 10. It was fellows Mike Wallace, Jack Sprague, Greg Biffle, Ron Hornaday, and Sauter, Harvick, Houston, Norick, and Rick Crawford rounding out the top 10 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series yesterday. And here they come into pit lane, and Fellows is stopping. Let's talk strategy here.
Well, now we talked about this because there are a couple of cars, a few in the field, that are talking about trying to one-stop this race. But if you know you can't one-stop it, with a caution around lap 10, maybe it's a good time to come in and top up. Let's go down to Amy East.
Dave Blaney is just about to hit his pit stall, and it's the team. They're going to take on 4 tires and fuel. Dave Blaney, who has never even seen Watkins Glen until this weekend, yet alone had run on a road course, says the car is perfect. Dave Burke.
And Ron Fellows, the leader, is in. They're simply going to fuel the car. Fuel only for Ron Fellows. He fires the motor, gets away in first gear. For Dale Earnhardt Jr., it's going to be 2 left side tires and fuel. Dale had, remember, locked him up. He's going to go all 4. Remember, he locked him up going into turn 1 before. So for Dale Jr., there will be 4 tires and fuel. This will give him the same window, but better rubber heading back out. Randy LaJoie has pitted. He makes it out, as does Blaney, Phil Parsons, and now Matt Kenseth makes it out as well.
And I'm wondering if Fellows is kicking himself right now. He got stopped by the paddleboard waiting for the field to go by. Would you take tires there?
I think that their thinking has to be, they know they're going to get stopped by the paddleboard to join the back of the field. They want to absolutely make sure they beat these other guys out of the pits. As we see the 57 car in pit lane, want to make sure we beat these other cars out of the pits. The car's running good right now. He's at the front. He's able to run quicker than these guys. Why take the chance losing track position to those guys?
That's Jason Keller, who was in the pits. That was his backup car. He has moved up to, up to 36 from last in the field. There's our new race leader. That's Jack Baldwin. We'll tell you more about him when we come back to Watkins Glen. We're under our first caution. They're having trouble with the left rear there.
Dave and Amy, can you guys hear me?
Go, guys.
Can we find out from the 87 crew if that was in fact their strategy, not to take tires, to make sure they beat those guys out?
Yeah, I'll find out.
Thank you.
17 is having real trouble. They may bring him back in.
Okay. Do we know what trouble they're having?
Loose. Can't even drive it.
Okay.
Dave, can you find out what they're going to do on the 17 car?
Yeah, I asked. He was too busy.
Okay.
That's my follow-up question.
Yep. Yeah, I've got him here. I got this 5 career and his 92. I want to talk about this last practice when he got in the gravel pit, too. We only got a few more hours to go. All right, couple. How many cars stayed out?
Well, that'll as soon as they cross the line, we'll know that.
All right. Promo for today. You got it? Right. We're under caution at Watkins Glen International, and if you need an auto racing fix, we've got it for you today. Up next, right after us, here on ESPN, the Kart FedEx Championship Grand Prix of Cleveland. Guess who's on the pole? Juan Montoya. And then immediately following that, we go out to Sears Point with Bob, Benny, Ned, and the gang for the Cragen 250. So you get a full day here on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com or the Go Network, go.com. And there's the qualifying order for the Kart FedEx Championship race. Behind Montoya, Jill DeFerrin, boy, coming on strong. The best Goodyear tire shod runner. Finally picked up a victory last time out for his team, Walker Motorsports. Michael Andretti will start third. Here's the reason that we're under yellow. Oh, no. When did this happen? Andy Santerre loses the left rear. And Andy, in his first race back after that horrific crash, boy, did they not get the lug nuts on? I don't know. Or did it just shear off?
Well, guys, I don't believe they stopped on that yellow. We're going to have to check into that. But we were going to go back to green, but then 47 car did lose the wheel, so it shouldn't take long to get that car hooked up and move it.
Well, this was his first race back, and let's go back to show you what happened and the reason he has missed 15 races. This is Daytona, and there goes Andy sliding in. Fractured his leg in 6 places, and it has been a long recovery. His spirits, though, have been tremendous. He tried to qualify, didn't make the show, but has since come back, made the show here. In fact, did very well for himself, qualifying 10th in the Monroe Muffler Brake Chevy. But it looks like the day may be over early here as we're working lap number 12 under caution, our first of the day. There's some more statistics on him. The 1998 Busch Series Rookie of the Year. His career best finish was 4th at St. Louis, and his best run here was last year in 12th. And they were feeling pretty confident about today. And unfortunately, he's got no left rear, and we'll find out what happened. There is Randy LaJoie. Right now, the 2-time former champion is in 21st place after his pit stop. There's Mike McLaughlin. Stay with us. Okay, did Santerre pit? Because it looked like they didn't get the lug nuts. 47, did he pit? You don't have him.
Okay, so in fact they decided not to change tires because they didn't want to lose.
Okay,
yeah,
he did not come in. They broke a wheel. They say it's happened to him before this year and other teams.
Right, okay. Yeah, because we were keeping track of the pit stops, and I didn't have 87, no, I didn't have 47 coming in.
Pit, okay.
Right. Did you know what the one did?
He broke a wheel.
You know what the one did?
No.
Okay, if we can find that out, that would be great.
One did pit, but we don't know.
Okay, I'm going to go over there now.
It looks like they based on what I'm seeing, it looks like they did take tires.
On the one car? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And what did you...
All right, we definitely want to update Santerre. I don't want to blame the crew if it wasn't.
Well, that's why I said that, because I don't think he had not pitted.
Okay, so his feet are burning.
Let's go. Number 43.
Back at the Lysol 200 at Watkins Glen International. Our race leader right now is Jack Baldwin. Let's update Andy Santerre for you. We did check with the pit. He did not make the stop. That wheel just sheared off, so we did not want to blame the crew. They get enough heat in these kind of battles as it is, but this was just a problem where the wheel sheared off. It's happened before, but unfortunately for Andy, it looks like the day is over on his return, but it's great to see him back racing. Now the second place car, Mike McLaughlin, we're getting word from his crew that his right foot is cooking. And that's not the first time we've heard about it, but he may make a pit stop.
Well, and that wouldn't be a big surprise because it's very early in the race, and it's a very, very hot day, and obviously a lot of heat in these cars, so you'd want to get that sorted out early, and under yellow would be ideal if you could.
Well, but this would lose a ton of track position. His last 4 finishes at the Glen are 4th, 3rd, a 1st, and he's been the most consistent of everybody in this field today. We're going to find out our answer. Is he going to make the stop, or is he going to take the green flag? Dave, let's go.
He's going to take the green, guys, right now. Unfortunately, the protective booties that he puts on the heel of his feet did not get on today. They were in a rush. He didn't make it. He doesn't have them on. His feet are burning up. They're going to wait for the first caution.
Oh, he just took the lead, so hot foot and all, he is now your new race leader. And look out, Curtis Markham at the 72. Oh, he almost went off.
Well, these guys were very well behaved on that first start, but coming up for this first restart, it's not quite as clean as McLaughlin will get those bonus points for leading.
I think the guys are realizing how difficult it is to pass. One of the things we need to point out is it's a brand new surface here at Watkins Glen, but they also put a sealer coat down. And once you get off the race line, the drivers are telling us yesterday in the truck race and today, and look at the action back in the pack, that if you get offline, it makes it so slick, you're just gone.
And we saw it a number of times yesterday down into turn 1. And we saw it, and Jack Sprague actually really complained about it. He said it really made the race yesterday difficult. And you have to think for a guy like Jack Sprague and Ron Fellows as well, that having run that truck race will be a bit of an advantage for them here today.
Sprague, who is now known for his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship and always racing over there. This is actually his 72nd start in Busch Series action. His first was 1989 back in Charlotte. And his best in the series, second at New Hampshire in '92. McLaughlin still at the point. Jack Baldwin, Elton Sawyer in third. Jack Sprague in fourth. Curtis Markham rounding out your top 5. There you get a look at the 36, Tim Fedua, and Tony Raines, the leading Rookie of the Year candidate right now, and he's moved his way up through the cycling. The first 19 cars did not pit, so that's why these guys have sort of cycled through. He started 20th, currently up to 7th.
And guys like Ron Fellows and LaJoy and Earnhardt Jr. working their way up through the field. Right now, Ron Fellows up to 17th. There he is.
And you saw him just for a moment way back there trying to sneak on by a few more cars. And yes, he has picked up a few. In fact, it looks like he's gotten around the 63 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. There he is, coming right up now on the 73. Next up, no, I'm sorry, it was the 43 that he got around, not the 63. That's Shane Hall. We go on board with Ron Fellows.
And that thing you see flapping around on the windshield there, that is a windshield wiper. And Goodyear did bring the rain tires, and as a matter of fact, the trucks on Friday ran in the rain, and it was quite successful. Not everyone was really thrilled with the experience, but from a tire standpoint, it was very successful.
Dennis Setzer said the rain tires were better than the rain drivers. There you go with Ron Fellows getting around another vehicle. I think that moves him up to 15th. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Marty, Andy Santerra is still sitting here in the pits. They're working on the left rear. A wheel broke, and when it did, and when it came off, it stripped one of the lug bolts. So the time that they've been taking down here is to rethread or clean the threads on a particular lug bolt. They think they've got it fixed now and can get Andy back out.
Well, that would be great to see. I mean, it's great to have him back. Right now, Mike McLaughlin with about a half a second lead. That's what the margin looks like back to Jack Baldwin.
I think for Andy Santerre, any track time is good time, and the Busch Series only runs one road race a year, unlike the Truck Series that runs 3, and Winston Cup they run 2. So as much road racing time as these guys can get will be to their advantage.
Whoa, what's the smoke coming out of the back of the 34? Was that tire rub?
Didn't look like tire rub.
Could there be a problem on the Gould Pumps Chevrolet? So far, no return of the smoke. Maybe it was tire smoke on the Mike McLaughlin lead car. Magic Shoes is nickname. Boy, he has been magic at this racetrack. Look at that. Yeah, there's Andy Santerre. You just saw him a quick glance there waiting at that far pit exit to be able to come back out onto the racetrack. There he is. So good news for Andy Santerre fans. It looks like he's going to get back into this race, albeit he's going to be 10 laps down position. That yellow is for Andy right there in that work zone. We are not under a full course caution. There is Elton Sawyer and Jack Sprague. They are currently running 3rd and 4th. Sawyer is one of the vehicles. You can see their battle for 3rd speeds. Sprague a little bit quicker the last time by. Sawyer is one of those cars that flat out says, we're going to try and do this on one stop. They tested here and ran twice on a full tank of fuel and got 41 laps green before they went dry. Let's get an update from pit lane on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh, a spin first by the number 36 of Tim Fedewa, the Stanley Pontiac, and luckily he does not make contact with the barrier, and it looks like he will get back underway. There will be no full course caution. So Tim Fedewa, who in the past here has done very well, in fact last year he finished 7th, he's going to lose quite a few positions there and move back. And there is Dale Earnhardt Jr., the number 3 car. He is currently in 19th position. Let's go to Dave for an update.
Well, when Dale Jr. pulled something like Fedewa just got away with, this is what happened to his right front tire. Big chunk came out of it right here. When you lock it up like that here at Watkins Glen, you don't just get back on the thing and drive it away. There was a vibration, and that's why he certainly couldn't follow Fellows during that first pit stop, and fuel only. He had to change tires. This big mark is on the right front.
Well, not a good thing to have happen to you, especially on this road course. You're on board with Mike McLaughlin, our race leader. He's got a 0.3 of a second lead over Jack Baldwin. That's what it looks like when you're on board. Stay with us. Back after this.
Baldwin wants the lead here.
Sprague gets around Sawyer. Fellows up to 11. Curtis Markham doing well. Markham doing, and look at Raines driving well. Had a chance to talk to Tony. On who? On Mike? Okay. There's Tony.
And Joy's only up to 17. Earnhardt only up to 18.
It's going to be hard to pass.
Fellows up to 11.
You can't. Well. Hey, all right. Way to go, Andy.
Lucky for those guys that wheel broke where it did.
Okay. Bliss up to 9th. And Fellows is up to 10th. He has really pulled away. He's picked up 5 positions over LaJoy through passing. Oh, the 59 is up. Mike Dillon.
Jill, keep an eye on Sprague.
Oh, my. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International. You want to get the latest on auto racing? Well, RPM tonight at midnight here on ESPN 2. It'll be Busch Series highlights, kart highlights from Cleveland, and then we'll get the Winston Cup results also from Sears Point. That's midnight on the Deuce. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. You're on board with Mike McLaughlin. You know, this is the second time he has led here at Watkins Glen. Guess what? Oh, there's that tire rub again.
Well, maybe it is tire rub because that's exactly where we saw it the last time we did see it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
He led 25 laps the other time that he won here at Watkins Glen back in 1997. And he's leading again right now. Maybe that's an omen.
Well, and Jack Baldwin had closed up a little bit, but look at Baldwin getting a lot of pressure here from Jack Sprague. And Jack Sprague going to go up into second place.
And Baldwin is, oh, he gives him a nudge and sends him off. Luckily, Sprague makes a nice recovery.
Wow, Sprague did a great job there to save that car.
Sprague loses 1 position, and knowing Jack from his experiences in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, he will remind Mr. Baldwin that all's fair in love and auto racing.
Hey, last couple of laps, Jack Sprague has been the fastest car on the racetrack. He moved up into 30, closed that gap down on Jack Baldwin, and that was the move for second place.
Right behind him is Elton Sawyer. Now, just a few laps earlier, take a look at what happened down turn 1. This has been as slick as grease. The 59 of Mike Dillon goes around.
Yeah, right in front of Ron Fellows, by the way, and Dillon manages to keep it out of the pea gravel there.
And then coming into view should be the 43 of Shane Hall as he gets around, as Dylan is coming back out onto the racetrack right there. So you can see how slick, and Ron Fellows almost became a player or a victim of this, and this is an interesting view. Unfortunately, we've got a full course yellow. Our second one of the day, and we'll have to check around the racetrack to see what happened. Mike McLaughlin is your race leader. Second place right now is Jack Baldwin. This could be a little interesting contact, maybe, as Jack Sprague finally gets to move up right on the back bumper of Jack Baldwin. He might give him a little tap saying, hey, I'm back here. I didn't like what you did.
I'll tell you what's really interesting about since that restart, Ron Fellows has moved up to 8th position, but LaJoy and Earnhardt up to 15th, LaJoy only up to 16th. So those guys were not able to move forward as the way Ron Fellows could.
They are checking the track for oil, so that's why we're under our second caution of the day. So we're going to take another commercial break here at Watkins Glen. We'll be back with more of the Lysol 200. We've completed 20 laps. Thank you, Kenny. Great job, buddy. You're doing great. Hank Paca.
Hey, Dave and Amy?
No.
I don't know if they're on mic.
Looks like the second groove there was
Dave and Amy?
Go ahead and ask them.
Hello.
Thank you.
Leaders come in. They're
Hello.
staying out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, guys, we were just wondering, we saw some smoke from McLaughlin's
I know,
car.
I'm trying to update that.
Okay, thank you.
The update is they don't see a thing. They don't think anything.
Yes,
He's reporting
hi.
anything. So I'll update it
Yeah,
that
I'm
way.
trying to.
Okay.
I don't think it's coming.
No.
Change their mind. They're coming.
Okay, 24 is coming in. I got to call this.
Want to go with the original
I
plan,
mean,
Donnie. I'm
44.
staying out.
44.
Yeah, let me find that
Sean,
out. I was
Sprague
listening on the
coming
scanner
in.
too while I was listening to all of the
Sprague
voices.
is going to pit.
Yeah.
See, this is a surprising time to stop, right? I mean, you should have stopped on that first.
Yeah. That's right.
Right.
Okay. Yes, that's what I was thinking about saying there.
I go with another ice pack too. Just throw it in the window.
Whose radio was that with the ice pack? Wait, this doesn't make sense. Round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series, the Lysol 200 from Watkins Glen International. You're looking at the race leader. That is Mike McLaughlin. And we are under our second caution of the day. Let's go on board with Ron Fellows. We'll see what happens here down the front straightaway. Very slick going into one.
Yeah, that's Ron Fellows coming out of the last turn over the start-finish stripe, and as they go down into turn one here, now keep in mind, as these cars pull out, that braking zone there is very slick, but the 59 car of Mike Dillon just gets in too hot, turns it around right in front of Ron Fellows.
He made it look easy, but I guarantee his eyes got a little wide for about a second or so. Now the question is anybody going to stop here on lap 20? We're hearing that some of the cars are going to pull in, but I wouldn't want to give up that track position now because you'd still have to make a second stop.
Yeah, we had heard that Sprague might come in, but Sprague decided to stay out. As you see the jet dryer, the jet blower out on the racetrack cleaning it off down towards turn one there. But we do have some cars headed down pit lane.
Casey Atwood being one of them. Also, the 36 car is coming in as well with Tim Fedewa. He had a spin a little bit earlier, right at the last corner. He may need some tires. Remember. And Amy, you're there?
Yeah, we saw Tim Fedewa go off the course earlier, but that's because he simply missed a gear. That's the reminder that these Busch guys only run a road course once. So he's going to get some fresh tires on all four and fuel and get him back out there.
So as the crew finishes work on the right side, Tim, who ran 7th here last year, was saying, boy, it is very slick. He found out, especially what happens if you miss that gear. The 57 is also in. Let's go down to Dave.
Marty Jason Keller, 6th in points, decides to come in at this point. They were under the hood. Looks like they were making an adjustment to the front end suspension. This is a car, again, that they worked on for 20 hours last night in order to get it ready for today, and they've still got a few things they're working on there. Now they're inside the car, maybe working on driver comfort. We've had some reports today that from several that are having a little trouble with driver comfort, and that may be Jason as well.
Yeah, Mike McLaughlin has a hot right foot, and he can't afford to give up the lead right now. To update you on Keller, as we go on board with McLaughlin, you can see the cockpit area. Keller has moved up to 32nd from 44th, but of course he's going to move back a little bit now as a result of the pit stop. But let's get an update on the 34. Dave, what do you got?
Well, of course, Magic Shoes, as he is known, has already been described as hot shoes earlier today because we talked about he didn't have the protection on his boots. They ran back to the hauler to get those. They will have them whenever he comes in next. Not yet, though. The big problem right now, and I guess he's a tough guy because his cool box is not working. That's the fresh air going to his helmet. So right now he's got heat going to the helmet, he's got heat going to the feet, and Mike McLaughlin is just trying to tough it out.
And remember, we're working lap number 22 of 82, so he's got a long way to go. And we'll find out just how hot it can really get in one of these race cars. At the Lysol 200, back after this. Jill?
Mics are open.
Yeah, Jill,
Mics
on
are
this
open.
restart, we might want to stay wide and watch for Fellows. He's up to 8th, and Gaylord's right in front of him. He's okay. Okay.
Why? What happens if we find out that it doesn't work?
6 more. 13 cars are still out there that have not pitted.
Shifter boot came loose and it was killing us. Shifter boot? Yeah, right around the bottom of the shifter? Yeah.
Okay, mics are open. Is that mic? Yes. I can't hear Dave.
Any questions from you guys at all about what's going on?
No, just wanted to let you know that Sprague's going to go, they can go to lap 41.
Yeah, see, that puts them right at halfway.
And then that's it. They just,
Right.
they're going for it.
Right.
They're going for it. Sprague's
Okay.
going for
I
it.
think it's a smart move.
Me too.
But you look at where Fellows is right now.
Yeah, but
Right.
he's got to stop again.
Yeah, I know, but so does Sprague. And he doesn't have to conserve.
Okay. Back at the Lysol 200, Marty Reed along with Jeremy Dale, Dave Burns, Navy East patrolling pit lane, and we are under our second yellow of the day. We're on board with Butch Miller as he's making his way along the front straightaway at a reduced rate of speed. But Tuesday, hey, a new show coming to ESPN, Classic Wide World of Sports. Now, this is a premier show in series. It's going to start this fall. It's going to focus on some of the biggest stories ever covered by Wide World of Sports over the years. And guess who? First episode has to be on Evel Knievel. It's going to have the Wembley bus jump, the Snake Canyon River jump. It's all 8 o'clock Eastern Tuesday on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. There's the lead pack coming through. Mike McLaughlin is on the point right now. Jack Baldwin, then Jack Sprague in 3rd, Elton Sawyer 4th, Curtis Markham 5th, Tony Raines 6th, and Scott Gaylord there in the 77 in 6th, or 7th I should say, and the 87 of Ron Fellows right behind him. Gaylord really was awful in qualifying, was pretty doggone good in the last practice at 13th quickest. He starts 26th, now he's up to 7th.
Well, you know, this racetrack's been changing all weekend. I mean, Friday it rained in the morning, so in the truck practice, They didn't get a lot of good information. The Busch cars went out on Friday. They didn't get great information. The racetrack's just been changing, so it's been really hard to nail down a setup. And that's why during the truck race yesterday, we saw teams making major chassis changes during the race, and these guys will probably be doing the same thing today.
You saw that graphic about the fact that Ron Fellows has led 10 laps today. When he won here in '98, he led 54 of 82 laps. So he's used to being up front. And let's talk a little strategy now. We know that some of these cars that have stayed out, there's 12 of them that have stayed out, are going to go to lap 41, try and do this on one stop. But now Fellows has stopped back at lap 10, put on fresh tires. He's already worked his way back to 8th. Who's got the advantage?
Well, you pretty much have to assume that the guys up front are trying to one-stop it. I think Fellows has the advantage at this point because he doesn't have to think about fuel conservation. He stopped on lap 10, topped up with fuel, did not take tires. He's been very fast coming off that first yellow, is now up to 8th position. So I think Fellows has the advantage because he doesn't have to conserve any fuel.
And Jason Keller's back out. Boy, he's struggling, though, still in 39th. You got an update, Dave?
Well, Jason Keller, we'll put a button on that story. He came in, and that was a shock adjustment underneath the hood. They also have a problem with the shifter boot. That's the kind of the rubberized portion that covers up the shifter lever. Another thing it does, though, is it keeps the fumes from underneath from coming into the cockpit, and they had to cut that to fit it, and unfortunately, fumes were getting in the cockpit, so they went in, taped that all back up, and made sure that Jason had fresh air to breathe.
Well, he's finished 10th here twice at the Glen. Of course, qualified 6th, but that last practice crash, that right in this very section of the racetrack where he's roaming right now under yellow, I mean, it just tore up the primary car, and boy, that's what happens when you got to go to the backup. The guys, the crew works endless hours, and you find yourself in 39th working harder than if you were up front.
And there's a lot of little details like that. You know, that shift boot, I mean, really, its primary purpose is to keep heat and fumes out of the race car, and little details like that can really be bothersome during a race.
And as we continue under yellow here, and we'll remind you, it is because of oil down in turn number 1. We have a couple of cars spinning wildly the last couple of green laps, and NASCAR officials said we got to get that dried up. And so we find our way, working our way back through the field. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We're underway. Mike McLaughlin at the point. Second place, Jack Baldwin, but keep an eye out for that Bell South Chevy. There he is on the far inside. Who's going to be able to hold on to the positions now, guys? There's Jack Sprague. On the outside, Curtis Markham almost gets a couple of wheels off.
And Ron Fellows up the inside looked like he picked up a position. Boy, Jack Baldwin did not get a very good start. As a matter of fact, Ron Fellows picked up 2 positions on that restart.
On board with Ron Fellows right now. Looks like he's going to go around Elton Sawyer. That's Tony Raines that he was following in the 74. So he's already up to 5th in less than, 4 corners. Meanwhile, Mike McLaughlin trying to stretch the margin over Jack Baldwin.
And you can see Jack Sprague is very close to Baldwin, and it was actually much closer to him down at the apex of turn 1 on that restart.
And we've got a pass for 4th, getting on the inside, the 87. Look out, Ron Fellows is on the move.
And I think the other advantage here on this fuel issue with Ron Fellows, oh, we got the 10 car off.
Phil Parsons is into the barrier.
I think he's in some pea gravel there, Marty. I think he's buried. It looked like that right front was buried. Look at Fellows up the inside of Sprague, and the 64 car's off.
So far with no yellow here at the start-finish line regarding Phil Parsons' car. So that's back at the chicane, we're being told. So these guys are going to be approaching that area pretty soon. There was Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 63.
And Ron Fellows, it looked like, was making a run at Sprague into turn 1.
Yeah, in fact, Sprague has been pushed back to 4th. Fellows is up to 3rd. It's McLaughlin, Baldwin, Fellows.
And there's that car. You can see just, it went out of the frame there. There was the 10 car, and the yellow is out. I thought that car looked like it was buried in the gravel, so full course yellow.
So here we are. We're going to be completing lap number 25 of 82, and we're going to be under our 3rd caution of the day. Let's go back and show you what happened to Phil Parsons.
This is on the first restart, and so keep in mind those tires are cold and might have picked up a bit of debris, and he just kind of skates across the grass there and buries it in the gravel. Never got to those big foam blocks that are backed by the tires that are backed by the wall.
So under our third caution of the day, Mike McLaughlin will maintain. In fact, Jack Baldwin got around him there. In fact, Baldwin went off for the first time ever into the pea gravel yesterday. He says, I've never been in that stuff before. He says, it does its job. It stops you pretty quick.
Well, boy, you could see that with the 10 car going off there.
Jeremy, you're exactly right, because on lap 21, Phil Parsons took on 4 tires, and they made an air pressure adjustment because his car was tight. And he said to the crew over the radio, you know what, I just got in there too hot. He was not taking into account that those tires would be cold. So he's stuck. As soon as they get him out, they're going to bring it in and make sure that the car's not damaged too badly.
Well, and Phil was one of the guys who did not build a special road course car for this event. This car, if it's in one piece, is going to race next at Milwaukee.
Well, with only one road course on the Busch schedule, you have to say, you know, what is the sense in building a special road course car? And so you have to appreciate that decision that Phil Parsons made.
So we're on board right now with Randy LaJoy. He's 13th. The guy right behind him is Matt Kenseth, who is second in the points, but running 14th right now. Let's get an update from Dave.
And you're right on the second in the points, Marty. In fact, he held the point lead until Dale Jr. got hot and put him back into second. They're having a problem with a loose race car right now. In fact, it was a little bit loose before they came in and put on 4 tires onto the last time that they came in. When Matt went back out on the track, he was on the radio saying it was way out of control. But Jeremy, I believe, I was talking with Robbie Reiser. He didn't confirm this, but I believe it might be the cold tire thing because Matt said it was really, really loose. And I asked Robbie just a moment ago, how's the car now? And he says it's settled in. So apparently Matt is happy, but of course he's trying to move up to the front.
And Matt Kenseth has 3 victories so far here in 1999. Darlington, California. Will he get one today? We'll find out. We're at Watkins Glen. 200. Mike McLaughlin's at the point. Stay with us. Is there a problem with it?
Does anybody? Do you have a position on Randy LaJoy? One car, everybody?
Yeah, the one car right now
13th.
is 13th.
Oh, that's right. Duh, I should have been able to see that.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, they've now decided that Parsons says he's just going to go out and see how it is. They're not going to come in unless he thinks he's going to try to make some laps first.
Okay. Yeah, I think he did lose a lap there.
Yeah, he's down 1 in 40th. Yes, sir. Middle billboards. Thank you. Okay, are we already usual formula with the points? Usual formula with the points? Okay. Are we already looking like we're running long?
Bliss is up to 6th.
Oops. Oops.
McLaughlin faked coming in, but did not. But he did not.
So McLaughlin's got to be on.
Round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series here on ESPN is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By the Outlaw Performance Fuel Additives, proudly endorsed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. Well, if you're just joining us, you've missed a lot of action here at the Lysol 200. We are under our third caution of the day after Phil Parsons got into the pea gravel at the inner loop. And so far, this time by, with the lights still on the pace truck, Curtis Markham, the only one who was on that front-running cycle in 10th position, he did come in to pit. So we're working lap number 27 of 82, so we're not close yet to the halfway point, so it looks like he's going to have to stop again. Casey Atwood is also in the pits. Amy?
Disappointing for the Castrol team. He's lost third gear, so they're going to take a look at it and see if it's something they can fix out here on pit lane. If not, they may elect to take him behind the wall. Disappointing run for Casey Atwood.
Yeah, Casey's shown in 27th position right now, and his best run of the year, of course, a second back at Nashville, and he's got 5 top 10 runs, and at the age of 18 has been impressing a lot of race fans across the country, but it looks like it's not going to be a great day today.
No, Watkins Glen is very, very tough without third gear. There's no real good way to get around Watkins Glen without third gear.
Big day of racing here on ESPN. Following us, it's the Cart FedEx Championship, the Grand Prix of Cleveland. That's at 2:30. Then, immediately following that at 4:30 Eastern, Winston Cup action, the Safe Mart, Cragen, 3:50. We'll get your auto racing fix right here on ESPN all day today. It's up next. Need more? Log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. You know, that Winston Cup race on the road course at Sears Point, Dale Jarrett, the Cup leader in the point standings, he's going to start 29th. 57 is back in. Let's get an update, Dave.
Well, Marty, it's a problem that will not go away for Jason Keller. That shifter boot is still pouring fumes into the cockpit. In fact, now Jason brought it in because he has an extreme headache. They passed along some Tylenol and some fluids for him while he was in here, and again tried to seal that thing off so he doesn't have to breathe that.
So Keller pulls back out onto the racetrack, still shown in 36th position.
And that's a losing battle. It sounds like they're fighting a losing battle with that car.
No losing battle up front for Mike McLaughlin, except for maybe his go foot. They forgot to put the heat pad on there, and he has got a hot right foot. But the lights are out on the pace truck, which means we're going to go back to green flag racing. We're working lap number 27 of 82.
Note.
Let's set the top 5 for you. It'll be McLaughlin, Jack Baldwin, Ron Fellows, Jack Sprague, Tony Raines. Then the second 5, it's Mike Bliss, Elton Sawyer, Todd Bodine has moved up into the 8th spot, Brad Loney, and Curtis Markham. Dale Earnhardt Jr., our points leader, is in 11th. Randy LaJoy in 13th. Matt Kenseth is 14th. So now you get an idea of where everybody is that's in the mix. There you get a view of Dale Jr., winner of the first race in the Busch Series at Daytona in February of 82. And Dale Jr., of course, as we're back to green, last year's Busch champ. Heading down into turn number 1. This is where all that oil was.
Wow, look at Fellows. Oh, that takes a lot of confidence, man. That takes a lot of confidence.
I'm going to tell you, the 44, Jack Sprague, could have given a return shot to the Zippo of Jack Baldwin, but he didn't.
I don't know what's going on with Jack Baldwin on these restarts. He just doesn't seem to get down that front straightaway as quick as the other guys. You know, almost always seems to lose a position on that restart.
On board with Ron Fellows, something flapping. That's our roof cam.
That's the wiper, Marty.
Oh, that is?
That's the wiper.
Sure hope it doesn't rain. It's not going to do much good. I wonder, maybe it's gearing or something. Dave, do you got any answers on the 12?
You're getting close, and guys, yesterday I had a conversation with Jack Baldwin. I said, how good is this car? And he said, well, about the only thing we're lacking here is a braking package. They're good brakes. It's just that I can't drive as deep down into the corner as everyone else. I'll probably have to check up a little early every time. But Jack did say he thinks they will last. Marty, I also wanted to add it to that off-course experience he had yesterday. He said it was the best thing I could have done because now I know where the edge is.
Saw the tire smoke again on the 34, and here comes Ron Fellows.
Oh,
he come clean.
Man, look at the shot he got off that last corner, and it's a drag race down that front straightaway.
Oh, he's got him. Ron Fellows, you just saw a textbook exit. It's not how fast you go in the corner, it's how fast you come out.
You're right, Marty, and that's what it's all about. You got to get out of the corner clean, and that's how you're going to get by, guys. Yeah, you finish the pass in the braking zone, but it starts in the corner before that braking zone.
Up through the S's. And look at Fellows starting to open up the margin as soon as he gets around. Mike McLaughlin, oh no! This is a lot of 3-4 cars involved in this crash in the S's, and this is one of the fastest sections of the race course. The 48 there is Kelly Moore. Scott Gaylord is the 77. He was first into this.
Gaylord was running 11th. LaJoy was right behind him in 12th. So we'll have to look if LaJoie got through this.
That's Tony Roper in the IWX Motor Freight Pontiac, also involved in this. So we're going to be under caution again. The flag is out. It's our 4th of the afternoon. And I'm wondering if they got offline again. Let's take a look.
And this is a very fast part of the racetrack. And if you try and run this side by side, 2 by 2, you're going to get into trouble. And it looks like, boy, it looks like Gaylord just lost it on his own. It's hard to tell from that angle exactly, but boy, that is a hard hit, definitely. And see, Roper was about 10 cars behind, but just got caught out.
I'm wondering if somebody dropped some fluids there, because why did the other two get mixed up in it? I mean, they were a good 3-4 seconds behind. Look at the damage. That's a perfect imprint of what the guardrail looks like.
That is very impressive, actually.
I'm impressed.
You couldn't do that if you tried.
I'm impressed he's able to drive it back to the pits. I mean, that was a hard hit. He pancaked that. Well, Scott Gaylord making his way back. Unfortunately, Tony Roper is not. Roper got into. I forgot to get in. I hope we can get this in.
I think we got a replay here, Marty. Enough with the yellows.
Well, our record is 8, set last year.
Is this the 4th?
This is the 4th.
Well, this is Helton Sprague and company.
Oh, man.
That is impressive. The way that thing, that pancake.
Yeah,
they should take a picture of that.
It's amazing. He's going to stay in this race, and that's so fast through there.
Yeah, big hit.
Man.
Okay, yeah, this is what I was hoping was LaJoie's onboard. Beautiful. Can you roll it back and put it in slow-mo, please? Okay. Okay.
Can you show me the 61 also? Got a. Under our 4th caution here at Watkins Glen in the NASCAR Busch Series action, the Lysol 200, there is Tony Roper, and boy, he's not going very far. In fact, Tony had 3 goals today. Stay on the pavement, follow and learn from the other drivers, because he doesn't have a lot of road course experience, and drive the car onto the transporter. I don't think he's going to make it. Let's take a look and see what happens.
Now remember I said Randy LaJoie was close to Scott Gaylord. This is exiting turn 1. Now you're going to see Kenseth comes around the outside of LaJoie here, but look at the car up in front. He gets this curb right there. He touches the curb and he pitches him out, and then he actually gets a lot of speed taken off that car before he pancakes it up against the right side barrier.
So LaJoie made it safely through. So did Matt Kenseth. There he is, barely. He's got a little damage on the right side there around the number, the tire mark action. Let's go back through it one more time, slow-mo, and destabilizing the car has serious results.
Well, look at, there's a curb right there, and he just biffs that curb just a little bit, but it pushes the car out to the left. There's certainly no grip out there. And he gets the brakes locked real quick, so he gets a lot of speed taken off, and Kenseth and LaJoie sneak through, but other cars not so lucky.
So while they continue the cleanup in the S's, we'll take our time out here to get another commercial break in. At the Lysol 200, Ron Fellows, the race leader. Okay, I haven't done them for a while. Let's see. What's the sequence? Round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series, the Lysol 200 from Watkins Glen International. Take a look at the points coming into today's race at the halfway point of the season. Dale Earnhardt leads by 64 over Matt Kenseth, 158 over 3rd place. Jeff Green, Elton Sawyer, Todd Bodine round out the top 5. When we come back, We'll pick up our action here at the Lysol 200 at Watkins Glen. Stay with us. Okay. Round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series, the Lysol 200 from Watkins Glen International. For time constraints, we move ahead to further action in the race.
Those are the guys that have not stopped.
Okay, great, thanks. Arena football. Arena football. Merrill Hodge. Okay. Back on board with Shane Hall here at Watkins Glen, the Lysol 200. We're still under our fourth caution of the day. Arena football action's coming up on ESPN 2 tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern. The Barnstormers, the Firebirds, Merrill Hodge, and Mike Gleason have all the action in the 50-yard indoor war. We've got it all, including the playoffs. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Lights are out on the pace truck. We are going to complete lap number 31 of 82, so we have not yet hit the halfway stretch. And we, looking at some of this pit strategy, Jeremy, we've got several cars that have stayed out and are going to try and do this on one stop.
Yeah, it looks like we've got about 9 cars right now that are trying to one stop that, and those include McLaughlin and Baldwin and Sprague and Mike Bliss, a guy who we haven't really talked much about today.
Let's go down and do the pits with Dave Burns.
Standing by with Tony Urey Sr. turns the wrenches for Dale Jr. And what is the points leader saying at this point, Tony, about the car?
Well, we're just trying to get our way back up through there. We got in that concrete dust there to start with and flat spotted the rear tires, so we just held on the best we could there until we could get them off of there. So we got one set of tires left. We got to make one more stop, so we're just easing our way up through there, and we get to that point where we can stop, we'll stop, put 4 more on there and gas it and be ready to go. Car pretty good, he said.
All right, good report from the 3 pit, and they're currently running 8.
Right in front of him is Elton Sawyer, another car that's going to go one-stop strategy, the 98 Lysol Ford. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here on lap 32. Ron Fellows up front, Jack Baldwin, there's Jack Sprague in the Slim Jim car.
And there's Jack Baldwin with that not very good restart again. McLaughlin gets around him. Sprague gets around him. Baldwin trying to stay with Sprague around the outside. That's not going to work, and he's probably going to lose more position.
Tony Raines has a fender up underneath him, but Raines thinks better of it. Falls back in behind the 12 of Jack Baldwin.
It really makes me wonder if those guys have got a different set of gears in that thing, and that's why they just can't get going on those restarts.
Well, we already know they definitely have weaker brakes. In fact, Ron Fellows, the man at the point, said yesterday at the end of the truck race, he was having to pump the pedal, that the brakes were going away. Hard to hog these things down when you're flying at these speeds. I mean, the average lap is well over 114 miles an hour.
And turn 1 is definitely one of the hardest points on the brakes. So is the inner loop, that approach they just made there.
Dale Jr. has gotten around Elton Sawyer on the restart, so that's going to move Dale up to 7th position. And it looks like he's taking another look here, trying to move around Mike Bliss, and he does. So Mike Bliss, who finished 19th in yesterday's truck race, slides back another spot. Sawyer on the outside. There's Matt Kenseth in the 17, trying to get underneath him. Kenseth all the way on the left side of the screen. 3 wide will not work.
And I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of grip over there, so Matt Kenseth better be careful going down into 1.
Could not get the job done on Bliss. Sawyer had to check up. Luckily, no contact. Through the Essex. Mike Bliss, who his best finish was last week in the Truck Series at Portland, where he came home in 2nd place behind Greg Biffle. His 3rd career Busch Series start. He was 6th back in California. His best run was 7th at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Right now, Matt Kenseth is right on top of him, waiting for him to make one mistake. Meanwhile, it looked like the 74. Tony Raines was taking a look under Dale.
He was showing him the nose, that's for sure. Look at Sprague. Sprague up under McLaughlin, and I bet Sprague's got a run onto the main straightaway.
So there is your race leader going by. The margin now is 2.6 seconds back to second place, and it's just literally 1 car length back to third.
And look at Earnhardt Jr. now up to 5th, very much in touch with this group.
On board with Mike McLaughlin, up through the S's. Notice, barely breathes the throttle. Boy, Ron Fellows, remember now, he stopped back at lap number 10. He will have to stop again, but if he keeps running this well out front, and we get a look underneath, that's Bliss. Tony Raines, he gets around the 74 of Raines.
Great move by Mike Bliss there. Takes a little bit of pressure off because Kenseth was right behind him and putting a lot of pressure on him.
That moves Bliss to 6th position.
Bliss, another one of those cars on a one-stop strategy. And the guys that are on a one-stop, really the first part of this race has been a real benefit for them because there has been quite a bit of yellow, so that gives them more flexibility. Dave, you can update us on the 74.
According to our records, Jeremy, he has not come into pit yet, so he is down on tires right now. But Tony is a pretty good road racer. Tony Raines is the leading Rookie of the Year candidate right now over Adam Petty and Hank Parker Jr. So he's leading those points. He's also won a road race with the ASA where he was a former champion. So he knows how to get around a road course like this, and he's doing a pretty good job with worn tires.
Well, he was 96 ASA champion, and last year in the Truck Series, he was 5th in the final point standings. And he had 4 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series wins. Look at this battle going on with McLaughlin. There's Dale Jr.
Up the 4th.
Yeah, and the sandwich in this meet right now is Jack Sprague.
Dale Jr. really on the charge right now, no question about it.
Check.
Well, in front of this trio is our race leader, Ron Fellows. The lead last time, well, there you go, just going out of view is about almost 4 seconds. We talked about at the beginning of the show, this is where these guys finished in this race last year. It was Fellows first, McLaughlin second.
But Earnhardt was a big factor last year, and he is going to be a factor this year. Keep in mind, these guys that are running the one-stops, they've got to be a little lighter with the right foot. Fellows and Earnhardt can run as hard as they want. They don't have any fuel concerns.
Well, speaking of fuel, we've had 10 laps of our 34 so far under caution. That opens your window, extends it so much further for the guys that are going on that one-stop strategy.
It gives them a bit more flexibility, but still Fellows and Earnhardt have more flexibility.
McLaughlin holding off. Jack Sprague right behind is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jack Baldwin is 5th. Mike Bliss is in 6th.
And keep in mind, Earnhardt has 10 laps less on his tires than these guys in front of him. Sprague a little defensive there as they go down the back straightaway.
Report of 2 cars off. Again, it's John Preston. That's his 3rd time. And also the 73 has taken it off course. That's Brian Wall. The Vernon Boilers.
The pea gravel doing its job, and the full course yellow is out, so another yellow.
That's number 5. Our record is 8. It was set last year. And our number of caution laps, well, that also was set last year. We had 24 laps caution. I don't know about you, but I do not want to see that happen again. And that means that nice little, what was it, about a 4-second lead that Ron Fellows had established has gone away again. And we're also getting closer to the mid-race point. So we'll find out about pit strategy when we come back. My fault or a problem? Okay, that's okay. That's all right. I mean, we're throwing a lot of stuff. Okay.
Join some of the Joyce guys are all look like they're coming in. Huh? Yeah.
17 of the NASCAR Busch Series, the Lysol 200 from Watkins Glen International. Due to time constraints, we move ahead to further racing action here in the contest. John Preston is becoming our Dane Pitteresi of this race.
Well, let's not give him too much.
Whoa, look.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Preston gets into him.
So it wasn't really his fault.
No, Preston should have zigged right instead of zagging left. First career Busch North win at Holland earlier this month. Okay. Thank you, Kenny. You're watching John Preston's car being drug out of the Turn 1 pea gravel as we're under our 5th caution of the day here at the Lysol 200. And also, you can see Brian Wall as he is being drug out as well. Let's take another look.
Well, down into Turn 1, where we've seen a lot of problems today already. The 73 car gets in a little too hot. Back end swaps ends. And 64 car just nowhere to go there. Gets pushed outside. And once you're in that pea gravel, unless you've got a lot of momentum, you're not going anywhere.
Well, John Preston in that 64 finished second in the Busch North race last year. As the 73, Brian Wall, who had his most laps led, has been Jeff Green. But take a look at Todd Bodine. He has 19 laps led this season, the fewest of the top 5. But he's also led 19 laps here at Watkins Glen, which is the most of anybody in the race today. Maybe 19's his lucky number.
Maybe he likes this racetrack.
I know he likes it. He's running 10th right now after having a carburetor problem in qualifying, and that's why they started so far back. In fact, he qualified 33rd, but he was 12th quickest in the last practice session. Waiting to see if anybody comes in. Yes, Mike McLaughlin is coming in. We are completing lap number 37, so we have not hit the halfway stretch. 35-mile-an-hour pit speed. Do not pass the pace truck, or you're going to be spending some extra bonus time. Dave Burns, he's heading your way, and I imagine his right foot is on fire.
For the first time today, Steve Hellwig and the crew will have to go to work for the Gould's Pump Chevy. And now he brings it in. Going to the left side first. That is Hellwig on the jack. He is the crew chief. They will also hand it to Mike right now a bag of ice and the booty. You can see him reaching for that, grabbing it, putting it down to his shoe now. That's Mike's responsibility. The crew's got the left sides done. Now they're going to go to the right. A second can of fuel added. Fuelman says okay. They're working also on the air system, trying to get him a little bit more fresh air in there. Remember, his cold box is down. And now Mike, ready or not, he's sending him out 23 flat. And Mike is maybe still working on his foot.
Well, Dave, yeah, you said ready or not. It's more like not, because he didn't get that booty on, so he's going to have to do that while he drives around.
When you can, but we should be okay.
Well, we'll find out if that stays on his foot. We'll take another commercial break. We're under caution at the Lysol 200. Stay with us. It looks to me, if he picks up that right foot, it's going to come off. Unless he's...
Government back there pretty good, because they don't want you to do it on the front side.
He's getting the ice down in. He's working on that right now.
Thanks, Gio.
Going through the S's.
Yeah, we're watching you on TV. Scrub him in.
Scrub him? Heck, he's trying.
We're watching you on TV.
Guys, you better tell him to get that thing tied on.
Ready for the green when you come around here.
I guess you got the
Magic of television.
Yeah,
huh?
we're heading for the inner loop, and he's putting his gloves on, guys.
That's good teamwork, Jeremy. You guys, that was great. And way to go, Jill, with the call. What shot you were on. Way to go.
Hey, you're racing a racetrack. Take your time.
No, I wasn't. I was listening to my producer.
Okay, we talked about that.
All right, what are we missing?
1, 2, 3. Here's the cars that are still out. One stop, 12, 98, 44, 35, and 90. Those are the only ones that have not pitted.
Okay, 44's coming in.
Boy, they must be counting on more yellows.
They have to be. They have to be.
They did. They wanted to go. If they went 3 laps under yellow, they were going to come in.
I'm going to run down and get an update or two.
We're back at Watkins Glen International, the Lysol 200. We are under our 5th caution of the day and checking our drivers on one-stop strategy. Jack Baldwin, Elton Sawyer, Jack Sprague, Mike Bliss, and Brad Loney are the only... Well, we've had so many yellows, we'll get a few more. We can still make this on one stop.
I'll tell you what, it's 5 laps till halfway. Based on that, they got to go 110 miles on a tank of gas, and that's going to be very, very hard to do. Now, in the first half, they've had a lot of yellow, but you can't count on that. You can't predict that that's going to happen in the second half of the race.
So we're going to find out. I mean, with the fewest number of cautions we've had here in this event is 3. The most is 8. So, I mean, that is a huge disparity. And you're right. If you're gambling that there is definitely going to be more yellow, that's a pretty big gamble.
Well, there's no question this man here is in the best shape right now, Ron Fellows. Earnhardt's in good shape. And Baldwin and the rest of them on the one stop, they're going to have to hope for another yellow.
Making their way through turn 10. Then on to the right-hander, which is the final turn, turn 11. And then we should be going back to green flag racing. Pace truck is in. Oh, and look at this. Jack Sprague jumps into the pit lane under green.
Wow.
I don't know if I follow this one. On down into the first turn. Dale Jr. now in second place. Mike Bliss in third. The man at the point is Ron Fellows. I'm wondering, what is the strategy on Jack Sprague's team?
I don't know, because you would think they could run. Let's go down to Amy. Amy.
The best I can guess on their strategy from looking at their reaction down here is that this has a lot to do with their fuel mileage, and this was part of their original plan, close to lap 40. They're going to give them fresh rubber, fuel, and something interesting about this car, it's got 5 wins, 3 of them here at the Glen, so I think they know what they're doing.
They're giving up an awful lot of track position by waiting for the green flag to drop as everybody else is motoring away. Jack Baldwin, another guy who made the stop. That was the car that Boris said put on the pole here last year, so he's making his way back out. So, guys, stalled it momentarily, but he's back on the way.
44 laps to go, guys. 44 to go. So, it's going to be a tough deal for Sprague and Baldwin. They really are going to have to hope for some yellow.
Back to the race lead, and look at this. They're coming through turn 11 as those guys are just getting down to turn 1. That is how much track position they have given up. If this stays green, those two are in big trouble. We're on board with Ron Fellows, Dale Jr. right behind him.
Well, this reminds me of last year. Ron Fellows, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on slightly better tires than Ron Fellows. Remember, Ron Fellows stopped early but didn't take tires.
And notice Matt Kenseth has gotten around Mike Bliss, and it looks also like Jeff Green got around. No, not yet. He's working on it.
Boy, it looks like Earnhardt wants to get by Fellows.
Well, this is the highest up we've seen Jeff Green also as he's made his way into the top 5.
And there it is.
Look at this. Dale Jr. gets around Ron Fellows. Now, remember, Fellows stopped back at lap number 10. Lead at least 1 lap because of the 5 bonus points. But I'm not sure. I don't think there was any agreement at this stage of the race to go ahead and let Dale Jr. take 5 bonus points right here. I may be wrong.
Well, if you're Ron Fellows, you know your tires aren't as good as Earnhardt's. And so why go to the mat trying to defend that position when you can probably just run with him, and it's going to come down to the last stop for these two. Look at Fellows.
Fellows goes back underneath and retakes the lead. Dale Jr., though, did lead the lap. That's the 11th in past 13 races here in 1999, where he's led at least 1 lap.
Earnhardt hit that curve. Remember the curve that Gaylord hit and crashed? Earnhardt just hit that curve. Almost lost the car.
Unlike Gaylord, though, he saved it. Matt Kenseth is about 1.4 seconds behind second place Dale Jr. And the more I
I see Ron Fellows pulling away.
Take another look. Let's go back.
This is where Gaylord crashed. Remember, he hit this curve on the inside, and look at that. Earnhardt clouded it, and look at he pushes him out one car width across the racetrack, but he manages to save it. Wow, amazing.
As we go back on board the Bell South Mobility Chevrolet of Ron Fellows, here's our AutoZone race recap. Now, Fellows has led 21 of the 40 laps. There's been 4 lead changes. We've also had 5 cautions for 12 laps. That's why our average speed is down around 60. It back up pretty quickly.
Well, don't forget, Earnhardt hit that curve down to turn 2 on that last lap, so even if it was a deal, most of that gap came from that pop on the curve down there.
Well, the reason it wouldn't surprise me as we look at the 17 of Matt Kenseth is exactly that's what happened yesterday in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, as we have just reached the halfway point of this one. Right off the start, Fellows let Mike Wallace take the lead for the first lap and then retook it thereafter.
Mike Wallace did a great job yesterday. Ron Fellows won that race, but Mike Wallace was really very, very solid.
Now there is Jack Sprague, and he has got a situation on tire wear. Let's get an update from Amy.
Marty, it's a good situation. Billy Hodges with Goodyear said with almost 40 laps on Sprague's tires, they're in excellent condition. So he seems to think that these tires get better on longer runs. I did confirm with crew chief Eddie Lowry that the reason they did stop on that restart was due to fuel calculation. So he'll have enough fuel for the rest of the race and hopefully good, strong tires at the end. So that's the update from the 44.
Well, he is currently running 30th, and you can see the margin back to our race leaders as they are thundering around this track, and 40 laps to go. Whoa, Junior, trouble. Another nice save.
I guess that's why this guy's a champion. I mean, we've seen guys lose it in 2 on the curve. We've seen guys lose it down into 1, and he saves both of those, but that tells you how hard Earnhardt Jr. is driving. Now he's got Kenseth on his rear bumper.
And that's first and second in the points championship battle, nose to tail. Let's get an update from Dave.
And Marty, with Kenseth pressuring Earnhardt, here he goes for the pass right now. He is by him. With all of that pressure, Earnhardt is going to need every point he can get. And in fact, there was a deal struck between Ron Fellows and Dale Earnhardt Jr., their crew chiefs anyway, to let Dale lead a lap. That's why it happened. And to me, guys, that's sportsmanship, because as you've said before, Fellows is not running for the championship. Earnhardt is, and they needed that.
Well, get ready to go to Matt Kenseth's pit then, because he's now in second place, and he's going to want the same deal, because he is trying to close on Ron Fellows. Through turn 10, whoa, somebody dropped a wheel off. That looks like slower traffic, because it's not Ron Fellows. He's running well out in front here at the Lysol 200. Stay with us.
Hey guys, 35 and 98.
98.
Stopped.
Yeah, 98. This is their one stop, and they did record it. I didn't have time to get it to you, but yeah, this is their one stop on lap 42. But they're obviously taking longer, aren't they?
And 35.
Yeah, I'll find out what the problem was with 98. You got it, Amy?
I'm going to 35.
10-4. Hey guys, in case it comes up later. Hello, you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
The 74 says they don't need yellows. They made their one stop, and they can make it. 74 Reigns.
Okay. That is impressive.
When did he stop? When did 74 stop?
74 stop.
Lap 37.
On 37, yeah.
Okay, the 90 is in now too. That's Loney. Here's something about that. If you get back to him, this is one and only stop. I think that's him in. That car was the one that got destroyed at Nazareth. It crushed it all the way back, the front clip all the way off, except for 2 inches of the frame rails. They rebuilt it for this.
Now, guys, just so you know, this is a situation where if the guys who are 2-stopping, like Fellows and Earnhardt, if they get a yellow here, they lose their track position advantage. So a yellow now is really going to hurt Fellows and Earnhardt and company.
4 more laps. 4 more.
Who's at radio? What
Hey
radio?
guys, the 98 fell off the jack, and they don't think it's hurt. They think it's just cosmetic on Elton Sawyer.
What radio was that? It just said 4 more laps. Thank you. Okay, that means he's stopping in 4 laps, guys.
Yeah, because he wants to come in under green.
Yep,
for sure. He doesn't want to get a yellow. What was going on with...
Where's 40? running in 15th position on the backstretch. Coming up, World Cup soccer action. Mexico versus Italy tonight on ESPN 2. 12:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 9:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Mexico, Captain Andrea Rodobal and midfielder Laurie Hill lead the Mexican team. You didn't even know I knew that.
I didn't know you knew that. I'm impressed.
That's on the news tonight. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. We're here in Rumblins. Our race leader, Ron Fellows, is going to be pitting here in about 3 laps.
Well, and the key for Fellows is to stop under green because he's got a big advantage right now. And if the yellow were to come out and the pack were to close up, Fellows would have to stop, and all those guys, the one stop, would get around him, and he'd have to work his way back through the field. So Ron Fellows definitely wants to stop under green.
Oh, remember that happened to him at Portland.
It did happen to him at Portland.
Right there is Dale Jr. He has fallen back a little bit further, and the word we're hearing is that he may have skated off course momentarily. Take a look. Whoa, that's a skate.
Well, there's only 2 cars in that picture.
Well, it could have been both of them, the 3 and the 17. Matt Kenseth was there as well. Lap traffic now, and this is going to slow up the march of Ron Fellows. Right now he has a 4.1 second lead. And Fellows just turned his fastest lap of the race at 115.3 miles an hour on old tires. Now you figure it out.
Well, I mean, you know, that's why Ron... Hey, look at that. Earnhardt and Kenseth dive into the pits.
Second and third dive to pit lane.
Whoa, Fellows side by side with Baldwin through turn 1.
And Baldwin goes a lap down. Remember, he has just stopped. He has got fresh tires, and now the team is telling Fellows, we want you to pit next time. Dave Burns is in pit lane. He's coming your way.
The top 2 in points come in at the same time. What drama here at Watkins Glen. Dale Jr. hits his mark, maybe just a little bit beyond. They go to the left side. They are planning on doing both sides here for Earnhardt Jr. Other tires are on the wall. For Matt Kenseth, they were reminding him coming in, keep your foot on the brake. Now the teams go to the right side. This is a race between pit crews. Who can be the best of the best here on pit lane between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth's crew? Kenseth's right front is down. Kenseth is down. And now Earnhardt, little trouble. 22.4 on Earnhardt, but Kenseth to the line first.
So there'll be a little bragging rights in the pit lane for stall at pit out.
Down to first, all the way down, buddy.
And you can hear the crew talking him in. Dave, it's coming your way.
Today they've been saying between 2,500 and 3,000 RPMs in first gear down here. And I thought I heard him say 2,500 for Fellows early on. Here he comes. He stops and he hits his mark dead on. The crew will go to the left side first and then also give him right side tires, which are waiting up on the wall. And of course they want to make sure they get all the fuel in here at lap 47. 1 can is in. He hangs onto it now. Second fuel can coming in. Tire gets loose, and the catch can man has to leave. What does he grab? It's hard to know what to hang on to. Here comes the tire back in, and the guys on the right are finished with their work. Right rear, the last down, and Ron Fellows is out of here in 23.7.
Now the question is, where will he cycle back into the rotation as he comes back out onto the racetrack? Now there is the race leader. Mike Dillon has inherited the lead. He last pitted on lap number 20. So he still has another stop to make. That was 10 laps later than Dale Jr. and Ron Fellows and Matt Kenseth. So he may be able to hold on to this lead for a few more laps. He started 13th, running up front, but he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Stay with us. More pit stops and a lot more action to come from the Lysol 200.
Didn't work yesterday. Yeah, we had this same screen up yesterday, and no, it didn't come up. Where is Earnhardt relative to Fellows, guys?
Okay, what did you say? Oh, that graphic didn't work. I thought you were talking about pit strategy.
That's fine. He just took left sides and fuel.
What's the...
Turn it down, they'll come to you.
It's about 2 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you. Now, are there any one-stoppers that are in front of... Yeah, McLaughlin is, isn't he? Yep. McLaughlin is a one-stopper that's in front of Fellows. Who else? Raines? Yep. Raines is a one-stopper. LaJoy is not a one-stopper, is he?
No, he's already stopped twice, I believe. LaJoy stopped back at lap 37.
Right.
Well, fuel.
You know what's neat about that is that the gas man picks up the slack on the vent. That's what's cool about that. The vent guy goes to get the tire.
Back at the Lysol 200, Marty Reed along with Jeremy Dale, Dave Burns, Amy East in pit lane, and that is Mike Dillon, our race leader, but he still has a pit stop to make, and he's got a little bit slower traffic in front of him right now. Now, we just had the pit stop by Ron Fellows, who has dominated the major portion of this race. We're on board with Ron right now. And let's go back and check out what happened in the pit stop, because it got a little interesting at the back end of this car.
Well, that tire gets loose, so the vent man drops the gas can, goes, but look at the gas man. He picks up the vent thing. He's holding the gas, and he picks up for the vent man. Great teamwork there by the Nemechek team.
So what could have turned into a total disaster turned into a 23-second pit stop, and now we're on board with Ron Fellows, and the 87 right now is shown in 16th position.
And Marty, I'll tell you what's making this very interesting right now. A couple of our one-stop guys, Mike McLaughlin being one of them, are out on the road in front of Ron Fellows. So going to be interesting to see what happens here on this fuel strategy.
Mike Dillon, as you see, last year finished 5th here. Right behind him is Adam Petty. And Adam is a lap down. And while we're mentioning Adam, of course, we want to send our best along to Richard, the King, in the hospital. You probably know by now, had an attack of Let's go down to pit lane with Amy. She got an update on the 59.
Mike Dillon and the entire Kingsford team is really excited down here. Even though they pitted on lap 35, it was after a spin on lap 18. So they've come all the way back up through the field and anticipating about 10 laps, they'll need fuel.
To go into pit lane, though, Hank, it looks like you may have a left front problem.
Oh, Marty, it looks like the yellow is out, so our 6th caution of the day, I think it's probably to fix those barriers. I mean, the car's moving, but the barriers were kind of moved around a little bit at the end of pit wall, so they definitely want to check those out.
So for Hank, who at the time was running in 11th position, it's a tough break. Now, he had a pit stop yet to come, but tough time for him to have it happen.
Well, and he got it loose coming off the last corner, turn 11, and just biffed those. Not very hard. This is another angle, a better angle. You can see he's a little offline there, a little out of the groove, and he gets it sideways, and there's not much you can do at that point.
You know, he's coming off of a 3rd, his best run of his rookie campaign at South Boston. But he got into this field on a provisional in 39, the 24-year-old from Denver, North Carolina. Sorry, I thought I had the button. This helps Fellows and Earnhardt. Okay, it lets them come right around now.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
The Kingsford team down here, 59, when that yellow came out, they were like high-fiving. They're like so excited.
The guy who got the advantage is Sprague, because now he gets to pull around, and he's at the back of the pack.
Yeah, it's an advantage for Sprague.
1 to go.
And see, I think it's an advantage for McLaughlin, too, because he stopped early. Yeah, McLaughlin stopped before the halfway, right?
When was McLaughlin's last pit?
He needs some yellow. McLaughlin's last pit,
37.
Yeah. Guys in the trucks waving to themselves on the Jumbotron?
I guess.
Hey, Dave.
Mike.
Go ahead.
Way to make the call off the Jumbotron there.
Yeah, good. On which one?
When the pit stop.
Oh, I was watching the cars.
No, it was the pass down the back.
No, you called the pass. Yeah, yeah. Well, of course. Hey, I like TV too. I love watching TV. Which promo again? Okay.
Don't lose it, Marty.
We're at Watkins Glen International right now with the Lysol 200, but coming up next on ESPN, we're going to go out to Cleveland for the Grand Prix of Cleveland, the Kart FedEx Championship, and immediately following that on to Sears Point for Winston Cup action, the Save Mart, Cragen 350, all on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Jeff Gordon won from the pole last year at Sonoma. Can he do it again? We'll find out later today. We're under our 6th caution of the day. And there is race leader Mike Dillon now. His team is excited about the fact that this yellow came out, but they've got to stop to make it. I don't know if it makes all that much difference. They're still going to have to cycle back behind a lot of cars.
Yeah, and that's the key, because they're going to stop under yellow. Just about everyone else is good to go at this point. I think the guys that really helps are the guys that stopped before the halfway, and the guys that we knew definitely needed some yellow in the second half of this race.
And that's going to be Mike McLaughlin, because he's in 2nd place, and it looks like the 59 is heading for pit lane, so McLaughlin will inherit the race lead. There he is, the 2nd car in line. That first vehicle was a lap vehicle. That was the 48 of Kelly Moore. Several cars taking advantage of this 6th caution period here on lap number 54. And in the 59 pits is Amy East.
Well, they were excited when that yellow flag came out, but there's not a lot of advantage. Regardless, they're going to come in instead of waiting until lap 60 where they originally planned, because Mike needs a small chassis adjustment. So they're going to give him fresh rubber and fuel and send him back out, and he'll be good for the rest of the way.
Yeah, you saw him put the half turn in the right rear, and now they go back to the right side tires, and little hot rubber coming off of there. Guys doing a fine job getting back down and underway. Right behind you see the 10, that's Phil Parsons. Also the 47 of Andy Santerre. Jack Sprague back in. Jamie, what's going on?
I wish I could tell you. This is a complete surprise. They were all standing on the wall, but I didn't think they were going to come in. I don't understand the strategy, but they're going to give him fresh rubber all on the left side. I'm sorry, all the way around, and fuel. I'm going to go down and find out exactly why this is going to help them.
Well, Jack Baldwin also stopped in the 12 car. Now, we thought these guys were going to be on one-stop strategies.
Well, I think partially with Sprague, it might be a situation where he wasn't going to lose a lot of track position by stopping and taking 4 fresh tires.
Well, there's Baldwin come out, but he was in 25th, and now all of a sudden he's going to be cycled back even farther. I mean, we still have 40 vehicles out on the racetrack.
Yeah, but you know, he's not going to lose a whole lot of track position, so maybe they feel like they just didn't have great track position, and they'll put 4 fresh tires on and go for it.
There's Matt Kenseth, 2nd in the points. He's right in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's go down to Dave in the pits.
Okay, Robbie Reiser is his crew chief, and Robbie, right now you've got 1 position on Dale Jr. You beat him out of the pits, but has Matt got any problems right now with the car? I understand you've been chasing a miss all weekend?
Well, we've had a miss in the DeWalt Chevrolet all weekend, and we haven't been able to find it, and we're kind of struggling a little bit here to see what the problem is, but it's a little late now. We're going to have to go to the finish with what we got, and he's running real well. It just misses up the hill, and you know, is a little more unsettling for him than anything else, but I think we'll be okay here. We're just going to have to be smart and try to run a good race.
And you guys do not have to pit again, is that right?
No, we're set. We're set.
Okay, 17's ready to go. Amy East?
To bring you up to speed on why the 44 came in, it was because Jack Sprague said that that set of tires that they took on around lap 40 was not as good as the set he had on before. And what that means is that the car just didn't feel the same to Jack on one set of tires versus the other. So they gave him fresh rubber, and they hope that this will help Jack be a little bit more comfortable in the car for the end of the race.
So definitely one of those deals where nothing to lose. Ooh, something just came out of Sprague's car. It looks like it was his water bottle.
Yeah, he threw out a water bottle.
It's in the pea gravel now.
Well, and there are no littering signs on the racetrack. The crew will pick that up later. Let's go back up front. The second car in line is your race leader, Mike McLaughlin. Lights out on the pace truck as we're heading down towards turn 10, which means we're going to go back to green flag racing here. Next time by in about 2 corners. Let's update. You heard from Robbie Reiser. Matt Kenseth right now is shown in 15th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 16th.
So he should be out of your way.
There you saw the 98 of Elton Sawyer. The radio you heard was Mike McLaughlin. We'll let them call the stop. Remember that 48 is Kelly Moore. He is lap down. In fact, he's several laps down.
And the 48, we understand, is going to pit lane, so that'll leave a nice, clean, clear racetrack for Mike McLaughlin.
So the pace truck and the 48 pull off, and we're back to green flag racing here on lap 55. Looking down on the inside, that's the number 98 of Elton Sawyer. Oh boy, this is getting dangerous.
Yeah, Sawyer, yeah, he is not on the same lap. That's not for the lead. He's now back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he got caught out because of the yellow. Now he is back on the lead. He'd probably be one who would like to see a 7th caution.
And Chris Cook in the 65 car doing a great job.
Yeah, Cook also lap vehicle there. He is in his first career push start. Oh, check that. He is running in 2nd place right now.
Yeah, these 3 cars here are all on the lead lap.
He stayed out on that last cycle. He still has a pit stop yet to make. That's why he has cycled up into this position. That's Curtis Markham in the 72 right next to him. And it looks like Markham's going to take the position. So move Markham into 2nd spot. Bump Cook back to 3rd. Tim Fedola has cycled up into 4th. But again, all of these cars have to make one more pit stop.
There you see the nose of Ron Fellows' car.
And man, Fellows has been on the move on this opening lap. Fellows is back to 5th already. Let's go on board with Ron. He's the fastest car on the racetrack. Everybody else is about 109. He's at 111. So the 87 still seems to be the car to beat, even though...
Now the question is McLaughlin getting held up here because Ron Fellows is coming, and that is the real race here, is between Ron Fellows and Mike McLaughlin. So if McLaughlin is getting held up, he's going to want to get around that car.
Let's go back. We saw something happen to Jack Sprague. Perhaps cold tires. Whoa.
Well, I'll tell you, he was real close to that other car, but the cold tires didn't help. I promise you that.
Sprague right now in 28th position.
On the outside.
Markham right on the back bumper of Mike McLaughlin. This time by, we will complete lap number 56 of 82. On board with McLaughlin down towards turn 1. And this has been a very treacherous corner today.
Ron Fellows up to 3rd position.
Fellows is closing quickly on Markham. You just have this sense, I mean, a feeling like it's just a matter of time. I don't think anybody else has enough for him right now. The combination of the car and the driver and the team, they are doing everything right this weekend. Remember, that 3rd car in line, the 87 of Ron Fellows, qualified for the pole for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, and here he goes inside to take another spot, and look at the speed differential. 114 to 112 on McLaughlin.
That was the last lap. So he wins the pole and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. He comes out here in the Busch Series, takes the pole, and looks to be on his way towards another victory, which would be a clean sweep. You can't do it any better.
Man, if you're Mike McLaughlin, this is the last thing you want to see in your mirror.
Well, watch the run coming off of the final turn. McLaughlin, old Magic Shoes, knows how to run on road courses. But here we are on board, and watch how smooth he is.
You see how Fellows got into the throttle there? Now, keep in mind, Fellows on fresher tires, so he's got a distinct advantage, but he's able to roll more speed in, get to the throttle sooner, and he gets down that straightaway.
It's the second time you have been able to witness just how important your exit from the prior corner sets up the pass. And watch him pull away now. This car's on rails. I sure hope he rehearsed another victory lane speeds. I don't want to hear the same one from yesterday. We have 25 laps to go, and yeah, a lot can happen, but boy, right now you have got to give the nod as he puts Elton Sawyer a lap down. You've got to give the nod to Ron Fellows. He is definitely a man on the mission. Well, let's go back. This is turn 10. The number 8, that is Bill Lester in his first Busch Series start. Slides it around. He was in 28. That's going to move him back a few more spots, but he gets it back underway. And Tony Roper has gotten back out in the 61 car. So after the crash into the wall, he's back out on course. But Ron Fellows is still the man at the point here at the Lysol 200. That was Chris Cook, wasn't it? Yeah, Chris Cook, who was running second there behind the wall.
Hey, Jeremy. Did you, on that 12 car, Baldwin told me they just finished it Friday. Did you have another story on that?
Me? No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you said it was a former some or other car.
Well, yeah, I thought it was the car that Boris.
It's Boris. Yeah,
it's the car that Boris ran last year, I thought.
Oh, well, I don't know, because he told me the paint was still drying on Friday kind of thing.
Well, but
I don't know if they just brought it out of mothballs or what. I was just trying to confirm it.
Right.
James was telling you that the paint was drying on Friday, but that was probably up to 4.
Anything you guys are missing that you're thinking?
Well, right now, I mean, Markham's doing a great job. We haven't had anything from Markham's pit. 72.
Okay, I'll find out.
Cool.
I'm right here.
Lysol 200, you're looking at our race leader, Ron Fellows, and while he continues to run up front, remember just a few laps ago, that's the margin, 2.2 seconds for Fellows. We can tell you while we were in commercial break, Chris Cook, who had moved up to second in the Overtons.com Chevrolet behind the wall, so a tough break. And there is Mike McLaughlin in second place, Magic Shoes, the right foot a little bit cooler from what we hear after getting an insulator on his heel. Moving back towards third, we're looking for the 72 of Curtis Markham. And there he is. Curtis, best in Busch Grand National 8 twice here at the Glen. And there are our points leaders. Matt Kenseth, second in the points, in front of the man in front of him in the points, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And I'll tell you what, these guys have been running laps faster than Ron Fellows the last couple of laps, so these guys have not given up by any stretch of the imagination. They are definitely on the charge.
So as we come by the stripe, this time we will complete lap 61 of 82, which means 21 to go. Or pardon me, 22 to go. We've passed lap 60. I stand corrected. Down through the S's. We've seen guys get awfully loose through there. Kenseth and Dale Jr. We take a look at the comparison. Now, Fellows ran a 113.5 average. Kenseth, 113.7, so 0.2 of a mile an hour quicker. That's still a pretty good clip around here. They're closing on Markham.
The lap, I watched the lap before that, and it was actually almost a second in lap time on the lap before that, so these guys are really on the move.
But Ron Fellows, you know, we were talking about the fact he could sweep everything this weekend. He has had one other weekend where everything went well for him. Back at Mosport in 1989, he won on a Sunday morning the Players GM Championship in a Camaro, and then that afternoon came back out and won his very first ever Trans Am race. Let's take a look at the line. Who's going to be the quickest? And the interval right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the fastest car, and the margin is 2.7 seconds from first to second. And Curtis Markham has the 98 of Elton Sawyer in front of him. Sawyer's a lap down.
Well, we talked about how the 3 car and the 17 car were going fast, so we're definitely going to keep an eye on those guys.
Curtis Markham doing a fine job here. Now, I think he still has a pit stop to make in the Detroit Gasket Chevy. And there is Kenseth looking inside. Let's get an update on McLaughlin from Dave.
Well, Marty, you talked about Ron Fellows having a clean sweep. Mike McLaughlin is making a sweep of sorts with that car. He really likes that thing. It's actually more than 10 years old, and it's the only car he's ever run here at Watkins Glen. In fact, crew chief Steve Helwig told me that they didn't even bring it out to wash it until a month ago. They got it ready to go, put a new brake package on it, and it's the same old for Mike McLaughlin. He's driving it well.
Well, so far, currently running second and doing very fine. Has he complained anymore, Dave, about the foot situation when it was burning up? We're on board with Butch Miller, and that's Jack Baldwin right behind him.
And that's the race for 16th right now, Marty. Coming into turn 10, next to last corner, very fast left-hander. See that curve there? You don't want to touch that curve either. You can hear him go down a gear there. Third gear through the left, second gear through the right.
The word that Dave has reported through the truck is that his right foot is not on fire anymore, so Magic Shoes is just back to being magic instead of hot. Jack Baldwin, the 00 of Buckshot Jones. Is the first time we've really had a chance to look at him, but boy, Randy LaJoie, who started on the outside of the front row, is getting past. He's running 21st right now. Amy, what's going on?
A lot of disappointment down in Randy LaJoie's crew. He radioed in that he thinks he broke a shifter rod. He can only run this course in the high gears. He cannot downshift at all. So expect for him to just kind of be holding on till the end of the race.
All right, so now we know why LaJoie is going backwards. Right in front of him there is the 93 of Dave Blaney.
Listen to this as we go on board with LaJoie, because you'll see how this affects him. He'll be in third gear here. Now, normally he'd be in second there. And it won't hurt him too bad at this point. Stretches third gear down there.
Dave, got more?
Guys, one thing on Randy LaJoie this weekend is that he's not having troubles here because he's not driving the car well. In fact, he was out here testing with Boris Said using telemetry. He saw exactly what Boris was doing, and then Randy tried to copy it. Now, what does that tell you? It tells Randy may have driven the car hard today, and I think that's probably what got him in trouble earlier on. He wasn't way away from the limit. He was pushing the limits all day.
Well, Scott Lagacy and John Preston both get around him where he has to have more gear. And look at this. There's the 81 truck car going by. Let's go back and show you something that happened to Dave Blaney a little bit earlier. Ooh, that's not good.
Well, at least he kept it out of the pea gravel, and that is good.
And Blaney shown in 21st position right now. You know, it's tough for these guys. You got to remember, it's the only road course that they run all season long, except for maybe that guy, Ron Fellows. Fellows out in front comfortably by about 3 seconds. In fact, it is exactly 3.3. Will he hold on for the win? We'll find out.
Look at this. Kenseth around Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
And they're both around Markham.
Those billboards.
So I think Markham's going the whole way.
Yeah. 72's going all the way.
Yeah. He stopped on lap 30.
He stopped on 35 just because they had a bad tire out around, or something was wrong with one of the tires after they pitted on lap 25, I think the crew chief said. So because they did stop and change that tire and took on that fuel, that's enabled them to be able to go all the way.
Right.
You guys tell me the position on Jeff Green, 32?
Yeah, he's 37th, and he's off
8 laps down.
Wow, he's third in points. Where's he pitted?
He's down here by me, Dave.
You want to get an update, Amy, maybe on him?
Yep.
Okay. I might have an adder on that. We'll see if we work it in. Yes, indeed, it's poisonous.
I'm liking this race. Whoa. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Light him up.
There's some opportunity. You go, boy.
Round 17 of the NASCAR Busch Series on ESPN is being brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. By 1010-321. Dial it to save 50% on calls over 10 minutes. And by ESPN Video. Get your officially licensed NASCAR videos from ESPN Video. Marty Reed with Jeremy Dale and Dave Burns and Amy East in pit lane. On board Mike McLaughlin. This is a battle for second place. Glad you are with us. The laps are winding down. We have completed 66 laps of 82. There's our race leader just going out on the bottom of the screen, Ron Fellows.
And I'll tell you what, Mike McLaughlin has got his mirrors full here with Matt Kenseth. Kenseth definitely wants that position. He's been stalking him the last couple of laps. That has let Earnhardt Jr. close up just a little bit.
Boy, Kenseth, for a guy who has a miss in the motor, they said it was bobbling going up through the S's. I hate to see if they were firing all the way.
Man, because pulling up that hill, and you can see he's lost some ground there because he was much closer coming out of turn 1. Pulling up that hill is very, very important to get down that long straightaway.
Back on board with McLaughlin, split the first curve. Got the last one, too. That's all for position. Second, third, and fourth.
And look at this run down the hill. Earnhardt, great run down the hill.
Kenseth pulls him, though, on the straightaway. Heading towards turn 10. It's a left-hander.
Well, if you wonder if that miss going up the hill is related to carburation going up the hill. And it's okay on level ground, but when you go up the hill, it misfires a little bit. Oh, Kenseth with a good run off the last corner.
Does he have enough horsepower to make it work? He pulls to the inside, under braking, nose of the car, diving down. He's got him.
Great move. You know, you would think Matt Kenseth been watching Ron Fellows the way he set that up.
Our onboards have shown us that passing technique 3 times today, very distinctly. Dave, you got more?
Marty, I don't know if you believe this or not, but Matt Kenseth has never been to a road racing school. Where has he learned how to drive? Right here at Watkins Glen. This is his 3rd race. Robbie Reiser, crew chief, said never. He's never gone for instruction. He's doing pretty well.
Doing very well, thank you. We're riding on board with Mike McLaughlin. Let's talk a little bit about strategy as we watch the 17. McLaughlin pitted on lap 37. So did the 74, the 66, and the 43. That's 110 miles, and we've only had 2 laps of caution since.
Well, now, we talked about it. We said you can't, we had a lot of caution in the first half of the race. That doesn't guarantee you're going to have it in the second half of the race. And so Mike McLaughlin might be in trouble here on fuel.
Slowing car, the number 81 has looped it around. Mike Olson in a Little Tree Chevy, and where it is, and probably our favorite spot in turn number 1. It has been slick, as you can imagine. He gets it back underway. A little puff of smoke coming out of the back, though. Let's go back and show you what happened down in turn 1.
Well, there's some other cars around there, and, you know, that's the end of that spin, so it's hard to tell exactly what happened. But I would say, judging by that, he just got in there too hot, wide of that racing line where there is no traction, and loops it around. Fortunately, keeps it on the pea gravel.
Fortunately, nobody else got into him either. Everybody made it through safely. Right now, we show 26 cars on the lead lap. The record is 28. It was set last year. Back on board with Mike McLaughlin.
Now, here comes Earnhardt.
Oh, the 77 is taking it around. That's Scott Gaylord. He got back out after pancaking the guardrail. In fact, it left a perfect impression of what the guardrail looks like. And we have our 7th caution of the day, as he is in a very precarious position. And no, don't back out too far, Scott. So it's going to take us a little bit longer to reel off these last 12 laps. We're on lap 70 of 82. Gaylord gets it back underway, and that's right about here is where he had his contact with the guardrail. I'm amazed that car is still on the racetrack. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll find out if Ron Fellows is going to make it a clean sweep here at Watkins Glen.
Still over at the track.
Is that Fellows?
This guy's been hustling and trying to catch you, so I just wanted to keep you at bay there to say some stuff here for the end. By the time we go back green, it'll be like...
that's
that's Fellows and Patty. That's Fellows and Patty.
Okay. So, guys, do you think Kenseth has got enough for Fellows, or has got anything for him?
Well, we can ask that question. They both ran 109.8 mile-an-hour laps.
Wonder if Loney... Well,
I mean, we're talking about a 1/10 of a second between the two of them.
What car number is that? Is that car
90,
out of gas?
that's Loney.
90? Is that a car out of gas?
Brad Loney.
Yeah, he was one of the
Loney
cars,
was one of the
wasn't
guys that was going on a one-stop strategy.
Yep. And he stopped on...
From races through the Old Town Street.
No,
he stopped on lap 43.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
12 laps to go. Well, based on what I've seen, we went farther than this to test and we're running out.
Who's that? Whose radio is that?
We're back at Watkins Glen International, the Lysol 200 under our 7th caution of the day. After the 77, Scott Gaylord got turned around in a very precarious position. Ron Fellows is our race leader. He has certainly collected the 5 bonus points that would go for leading the most laps. And he's doing very well at making history for himself. In fact, he may put himself right into the research library that has opened here at Watkins Glen with a win today.
From races through the Old Town streets to sports cars and Formula One on the formal race circuit, to more recently with IMSA and NASCAR, Watkins Glen has seen it all. So where better than here for a motor racing research library? Built expressly to preserve the heritage of motor racing, the facility is available to all for both serious scholarship and pure pleasure. Jackie Stewart was the guest of honor at the grand opening.
Well, I think this library is in fact unique. I can't think of another motor racing research library anywhere in the world, and there are many museums and there are many places to pay homage to motorsport, but not for the student or for the academic. You have something that the rest of the world doesn't have.
Great crowd on hand here at Watkins Glen, and this is a historic race facility. I remember watching Formula One back here in the 60s. Jimmy Clark, Jackie Stewart, hello everybody, and everybody's enjoying the race today. We were talking about Ron Fellows making history with the clean sweep, 2 poles, 2 victories in the same weekend. Well, he's led 40 of the 69 laps so far, so it's just adding on. You're on board with Ron, the road warrior, in 6 races here at Watkins Glen. He has 4 poles, 3 wins. He could make that number 4 today. His average finish is 12.2, but that's for both Busch Grand National and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And he had 2 races in there where he had some early exits. That's why that average finish is skewed.
Well, he won trucks yesterday. He won Busch a year ago. So far he's 2 for 2, and this could make it 3 for 3.
Yeah, 3 races in a row at this track and 2 poles. And Matt Kenseth, as you look back towards the second spot,
How you feeling, Ron?
in the DeWalt Chevrolet.
I'm okay.
And Ron says he's okay. What about Matt Kenseth, Dave?
Well, all day long, Robbie Reiser has been kind enough to share his comments with me. Earlier today, he talked about the fact that they weren't going to try to make it on one stop. The points were too important, and that's obviously the way they're thinking right now. I asked Robbie if Matt had a chance to get around Ron Fellows, and he kind of shook his head and said, hey, with all the experience that Ron Fellows has, we don't think that we can get by him. We're going to try to win the Busch race. So you see their perspective. They know that Ron Fellows is out here to win. If they can take best in class, they're going to try to do that with the 17 car.
Well, I'll tell you what, the last race lap, he was only a 1/10 of a second slower than Ron Fellows, so don't give up on the 17 yet, or the 34 of Mike McLaughlin, or the 3 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. I mean, all 4 of these guys are running a very good, strong race. And yes, tip of the odds goes in the favor of Ron Fellows. Now, we're going to be running a little bit long, obviously, because of the extended yellow period. Coming up next, it's going to be the Grand Prix of Cleveland, the Cart FedEx Championship, as our full day of racing continues on ESPN. And then right after the race at Cleveland, we go out to Sears Point. Jeff Gordon's on the pole for the Winston Cup race to save Mark Cragen 350. So log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com for more information. Lights are still on the pace truck, but if we are going back green this time by, they will soon go off. They have been turning them off here at the inner loop, and that signifies that we will go back green next time by the starter's position. We are working right now lap number 71 of 82. So we would have, as the lights do go out, this looks like it's going to turn into about a 10-lap sprint.
And you saw the tractors out there cleaning the inner loop, make sure that that part of the racetrack is nice and clean. Now, another guy doing a great job today is Mike Bliss, who is up to 6th place.
And he finished 19th in yesterday's truck race. Let's get an update on what's happening today from AB East.
The most interesting thing with Mike Bliss and the team is that his radio is not working properly. They can talk to him, but they get no feedback from Mike. So that's been a little frustrating, but nevertheless, he's gone from 25th to 6th, and they were one of the teams that waited till close to halfway to make 1 pit stop and 1 pit stop only. So they're very pleased with the progress today.
And Mike talked to me right before the start of today's race, and he said, you know, if we can come out of here with a top 10, we'd be very, very happy. And right now, he is in a solid 6th position. In front of him, Curtis Markham. Right behind him, Todd Bodine.
You have to believe that experience he had yesterday running the truck race, definitely helped Mike Bliss. They kind of get in that road racing frame of mind, and you know, the more laps you do, the better you get at it, no question about it. So I think yesterday's race probably a big help for Mike Bliss.
All right, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here, we're going to eavesdrop on the 34 radio of Mike McLaughlin. We'll let them call it once they approach turn number 11. 10-lap sprint now to the end over this 2.45-mile road course here at Watkins Glen. They make their way down towards the final turn. Let's set it one more time. It's Fellows, Kenseth, McLaughlin, Dale Jr., and Curtis Markham, your top 5. All the pit strategy and everything else is now out the boards, because it comes down to that right foot and how much horsepower and how much skill.
Play, go, go, go.
Mike McLaughlin's crew member not as excited as the rest of us as the green flag flies and we restart this race.
You're clear, get in there.
And everybody holds station through turn 1.
Yeah, Ron Fellows just protecting the middle of the road there, just in case. You don't want to leave that hole open.
But he has not pulled away from Matt Kenseth. The 2 of them have opened up a bit of a margin over Mike McLaughlin in 3rd.
Yeah, you know, Kenseth and company can talk about it all they want, but you know what? He would love to go up and, oh, maybe Fellows is going to let him go. Who knows? But, man, he's alongside. No way.
No, no, there's no 5-point deal with 10 laps to go here for leading a lap. Boy, Fellows took the defensive line. It's the only thing that saved him. He held it all the way down the backstretch.
Meanwhile, Earnhardt putting a lot of pressure on McLaughlin.
Heading down towards turn number 10. Whoa, Dale getting a little loose there. Through turn 10, into turn 11, this time by. We'll have 10. Whoa! They go, whoa, off course.
You know, I watched Kenseth turn into that corner. I thought, man, he looks like he's carrying a lot of speed, and he just couldn't make it work. Just too much speed. A great job to save the car.
Yeah, but it's going to cost him dearly because here comes Dale Earnhardt around him.
Oh, he gets tapped.
And he gets tapped from behind by Mike Bliss. Cannot keep it from going up a third car into the gravel pit. The caution is out. It will be our 8th. That ties our race record. And there is damage. Oh, and Curtis Markham. They wanted to get as many points as they could out of this, and it is turning into a nightmare for both Matt Kenseth and Curtis Markham. And there's the crew, Robbie Reiser, just wondering what went wrong. Look at the damage on Markham.
And that all started back at turn 11, leading onto the main straightaway. Matt Kenseth trying just a bit too hard in that last corner, tried to carry too much speed and just couldn't pull it off.
Markham was running in 6th. Let's go back, take another look.
And they ended up all shuffled like this because Kenseth didn't get off the corner well. Bliss gets into him. It's not intentional. It's just one of those deals. Kenseth was trying to defend a little bit. Bliss gets out, and then it just all breaks down from there.
I don't think Kenseth could see or knew that the 35 car Bliss was that close. See, look at where the angle is here, and he's coming down. And Bliss was on the brakes, so there was nothing Bliss could do.
There's no question Bliss was on the brakes, and the hole was already open from Earnhardt, and of course Kenseth there unintentionally gave Bliss another little tap back as the 72 car then gets into Kenseth hard on the right side.
One more look. The spin has already started from that point, but it was clear on the last replay. The 35 had been on the brakes, held its line. There's just nowhere for him to go.
Well, Mike Bliss saw a hole there, and he thought, well, I'm going to try and take this opportunity and fill up that hole.
And Curtis Markham climbs out of the race car. He's taking a look at the damage, taking time to take off those fireproof insulators. Keeps the heat from your heels. He has 2 poles in the Busch North, finished 3rd in 93 here at Watkins Glen, 4th in 97. Oh, and the 43 is off into the gravel pit as well. We didn't see that earlier.
Well, I knew there was something in there. You just couldn't see it for all the dirt and dust.
Yeah, that's Shane Hall, and he is stuck up to the axle. So this is going to take a couple of laps as we're on board with Shane. And Kenseth is into the pits. Dave?
Wow, big damage on the right side we can see already, but they go to the left side to begin with. They of course, are worried about the pace truck coming back around. Matt has already radioed them, keep an eye on it for me, guys. So this time, they're just going to change the 4 tires and get the fuel in there and worry about damage on subsequent pit stops. So they go to the left, get the rights on there, but the damage behind is pretty good. You see him pulling it out there just a bit. So it's really not all that bad except for aerodynamics. They're going to pull away the front grille work as well. It looks like they still have time based on where the pace truck is. And bump up the right front fender there as well with a little tool and slap a bunch of tape on the front and try to get Matt out of here.
Well, right now he is listed in 21st. There are 25 cars on the lead lap, and they're still trying to make the damage repairs. But the loss in points is monumental because right now Dale Jr., the points leader, is in 3rd. Boy, these guys are a ton of work trying to get this pulled out. Shane Hall is still stuck in the gravel pit, so we're working lap number 74 of 82, and we are going to go long today. Now let's go back from his point of view and see if we can pick up what happens late in this thing.
Now this is onto the main straightaway here. Now you see all that dust? That is from Kenseth. Kenseth dropped his wheels out there and shuffled a bunch of guys behind him. Now there's all sorts of stuff going on in front of Shane Hall at this point, and he just gets in there too hot. He's wide of that apex. and doesn't ever get hit. He's just in too fast and puts it in the gravel.
And that's what the view of Shane has right now, as he is still in the pit lane, and so is, or stuck in the gravel pit, I should say, and the 17 is in the pit lane. Now, while all this is going on and they're keeping an eye out for the pace truck, we'll remind you that up next is the Grand Prix of Cleveland, the Kart FedEx Championship. And then following that immediately will be the Winston Cup Safe Mart Kragen 350. All on the ESPN. Stay with us. We'll try and get this one wrapped up as quick as we can.
Jill, did you ever find, did we have anything for Fellows' car?
I mean, like, oh, hi. Hi, mics are open. Well, no, I was selling that to you, Sean. Yeah, well, this is, I think, where it's most critical for Bliss. I don't know how much contact,
right, it's Paul and Parker.
if he has any damage, because he can't talk to his crew. But so I was just thinking, I saw Barry, like, put a smile on his face. I thought, let's talk to Barry Dawson.
Hey, Jeremy.
I mean, let's talk to the crew chief from Truck Days, you know? First time they've run together for a while.
So that hole was opened by Earnhardt, but wasn't that sort of optimistic in your term?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bliss? Okay.
Definitely optimistic. But, I mean, he saw a hole and he was going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just rolled that right front fender again. They asked before they went back out, how was the left side, and they said fine. And then they had the spotters around the track just making sure they checked for smoke. And they think they got it, back to where it should be.
Hey, Dennis, what does the right side of Bliss's car look like? Can you get a shot of the right side of that?
Oh, it's dented in. I can see it going by right now. Like you punched it in.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean, show him.
But they are doing a live cut-in on us. Back here at Watkins Glen International, we are under our 8th caution of the day, and we're going to try and get these laps wrapped up as quickly as possible so we can get to Paul Page and Parker and everybody out at the Grand Prix of Cleveland. Making the way through the S's. We're working lap number 75 of 82. And back to Mike Bliss, who's got some damage on his right side of his number 35, and he has moved into 4th position after the contact. And a familiar face down in pit lane with Amy East. Amy?
It's a familiar face because for 4 years, these two, Mike Bliss and Barry Dobson, were a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series team. This is the first time you guys have run together for a while and been very successful, but some trouble with the radio. How is Mike communicating to you guys?
He's giving us hand signals that we never practiced before. You would have thought we'd have done that in 4 years, but he was pointing to the back earlier on, and I believe he wanted more rear grip. We gave him that on the pit stop, but great run for Mike when he asked who we should get up here, and I said it's an easy decision. He's the Hammer, and that's his nickname, and I told him Hammer Time about 10 laps ago. We need a couple more laps under caution here to help us with the mileage, but he's the man. We won Milwaukee with him last year. We're headed there next week. Great run for Scana, Power Technology, and Ericsson, and Team Amick Racing. We needed this, but hats off to Mike Bliss.
Overall, this just seems like it's been fun for both you and Mike, so good luck for the rest of the day.
It's good for the race team, and Buddy Barnes helped me build his car back home, and we got our heads together. It's pretty much what I raced in the Truck Series and what we won the championship with Rusty Wallace, so he had a big hand in it too. Want to say hello to him.
Okay, hang in there.
All right, thank you.
And as we scan our way on through, there's another former truck racer, Butch Miller, in the channel lock Monte Carlo. He's running 10th now. Butch in a position to pick up some valuable points and establish his first top 10 in that car. Started all the way back in 32nd, got up to 3rd on lap 51, cycling through all the pit stops. But right now, a strong 10th for Butch Miller. Lights are off on the pace truck. We're finally going to get to go back to green flag racing here. We'll be completing lap number 75 of 82. Now we are going long. Again, we want to remind you, up next, it'll be the Grand Prix of Cleveland, the Kart FedEx Championship. And then following that, it'll be Winston Cup action, St. Mark Cragen 350. That's all right after us. Your racing fix all day long on ESPN.
Take this first lap and you know, run conservative, see what the track's like, and then you got 6 more after that.
That's Ron Fellows' radio that we're listening to. I see a little smoke.
Tires and fuel are not a problem, so
you see
have a good
smoke?
restart. Make sure that motor's cranked
Well,
out.
that is Bliss's car, and Bliss was involved in that contact, so it looks like Bliss has got a little tire rub on the left side. Certainly no shortage of damage on the right side. A little tire rub on the left. Be interesting to see what that looks like when he gets it all loaded up down in turn 1, when he gets loaded up in a right-hand corner. If it's doing that when he's straight.
Well, we're about to find out as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Our restart here, ending our 8th caution of the day on lap 76. Does anybody have anything for Ron Fellows? Oh, no. We're going to try this 4 wide. I hope not by the other end.
Well, Fellows, a great restart, and the guy that's defending there is McLaughlin. Look at the tire rub there on Bliss.
On board with McLaughlin. You can see everybody trying to make it through behind. I don't see a cloud of dust. Looks like we've survived turn 1. Boy, look at the cannon shot that Fellows gets over McLaughlin. Earnhardt 3rd, Bliss 4th, Dillon 5th. Down the backstretch, 2,600 feet long. Right now, Earnhardt's looking to take McLaughlin's 2nd place, but can't get it done.
Yeah, boy, what a great restart for Ron Fellows there. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on the move before that yellow gun car off here.
And back out on the racetrack safely enough. That was the number 89 of Jeff Fuller.
Look at Earnhardt.
Looking down on the inside. He's got McLaughlin. He's going to take the spot.
Great move. That was Mike McLaughlin's radio telling him Earnhardt on the inside. And Bliss trying to take advantage of that. This is a very tough place to pass. And this might hurt Mike Bliss going down this front straightaway.
And Dillon might get a run on Bliss. Meanwhile, Fellows, with 6 laps to go, opens up a 1.6-second lead. Points as of now. Kenseth would drop 140 behind. Look at Bliss trying to get under McLaughlin.
Wow, great move by Mike Bliss.
Here comes Dillon around McLaughlin. Does Mike have a problem? I mean, he is fading.
Well, don't forget, he's been on tires longer than any of these guys. McLaughlin was one of the cars that did a one-stop strategy, so he's only been able to change tires once.
Down the backstretch there, you saw the 12 of Jack Baldwin coming into view. He's working his way back up. He's into 8th. Look at our race leader right now. Ron Fellows dominating. Dale Jr.'s opened up about the same margin over 3rd. And there is Butch Miller. He's moved into 9th.
So the question is, does Earnhardt have anything for Fellows?
Let's get an update on McLaughlin. Dave?
Barney, I just spoke to Steve Helwig, the crew chief. He had 2 words for me. No grip.
Well, that is a serious problem on this racetrack right now, because as we saw yesterday late in the race, Andy Houston backed up from leader to 8th.
And Andy Houston was one of the drivers in yesterday's race that went with a one-stop strategy in the truck race, and that's where it'll kill you, is on tires.
And look at Jason Keller, 6th in the points coming in. He has made his way back out onto the racetrack, and believe it or not, has fought his way back to 6th spot right now.
Great run for Keller.
We thought that team was going to be lucky to make it to the finish line, and they're running in 6th right now. A great run for Keller after the crash in the last practice session yesterday, destroying his primary car. There is your race leader, Fellows. The margin right now at about a 2nd.
I'll tell you what, the guy doing a great job here right now is Mike Bliss. Look at this. He's closed up on the back of Earnhardt. He's on charge.
So Bliss, currently in third, obviously not running for the points here. And all we cared about before the race was finishing in the top 10. Well, right now he's got a top 5 going. Through the final turn, this time by 4 laps to go for history for Ron Fellows. Take a look at the interval time between each position and the fastest. And right now, Mike Bliss is your fastest car on the racetrack, despite the damage. As we head up through the S's. Whoa, Bliss bobbles. What happened?
Did you hear it?
Sounds like the motor cut.
It might be fuel.
Bliss is slowing through the S's. I think the 35 has run out of fuel. Something has definitely gone wrong with the 35. Either he's lost the ignition or he has run out of fuel. He's on the backstretch. We want to let all you Kart FedEx Championship fans know that while this is going on, the race in Cleveland has just started. We will be going there as soon as we finish the last 3.5 laps.
Mike Bliss stopped on lap 42, so he should be okay on fuel, but boy, maybe they didn't have enough yellow in the last half.
And the battle for the lead is beginning to heat up. Look at Dale Jr. closing in on Ron Fellows. A couple of laps ago, the lead was 1.6 seconds. What is it going to be this time by the line with 3 laps remaining? Survey says 3/10.
Earnhardt got a good run off the last corner. Look at this.
He will not try and stick the nose of the AC Delco Chevy underneath just yet. But he is right on the back bumper. So after dominating all day long, Fellows has led close to 50 laps of this thing. And right now, he's got his hands full with Dale Jr.
This makes me wonder if Fellows doesn't have some kind of problem. Look at this. He looks like he's short on horsepower.
Switch boxes, switch boxes.
Ignition.
Switch boxes.
Boy, trying to switch the box and run the inner loop at the same time.
Yeah, well, he's got some downshifting to do in the in the middle of all that as well.
He holds onto the race lead. The ignition box, you heard him call. Switch it over. He does.
I want you to dig. Switch number 2 if you want.
And he has taken back the lead, and you can see the intervals, how close it has been the last few laps. This time by 2 laps to go for history and Ron Fellows. Sounds like the ignition problem has been solved. But Dale Jr. is not letting go of that back bumper.
Ooh, did you see Ron Fellows' car? A little wiggle there. And he did not get off turn 1. Did not get off turn 1 very well at all.
Impossible to pass, though, through the S's. Dale Jr. has to try and get a good run going down the back straightaway. Will the Fellows take the defensive inside line this time?
He'll have to. He'll have to do that. He'll have to make Earnhardt go the long way. Look at that. Look, touch.
Just switch it around.
Dale Jr. came right up on the back bumper, through the inner loop. A lap and a half to go. On the outer loop. Junior's going to have his best chance coming out of turn 11. If he can make that car stick, he can get him going into turn 1.
Down the straightaway, wave a little bit. So fuel pickup, just wave a little bit.
Now we know his problem is going through the S's, the fuel pickup. That's what's slowing him down.
Well, that might be the problem. Again, climbing that hill. These cars aren't used to going up and down hills.
So Ron Fellows has a problem. We're heading for the white flag lap. He may not have enough fuel in the pickup to make it, and here comes Dale.
Look at this run. He's got to run.
Dale Jr. has got him. He's under braking. Fellows doesn't have enough tire, and he may not have enough fuel.
But Earnhardt locked up the right front.
Oh, they touch.
Big touch.
Contact heading into the S's. You don't want to do it there. Too much guardrail. Look at the way this turns into a tunnel.
Lap car up ahead.
I was listening for the motor to cut out. Didn't hear it, but right now, Dale Jr. has got about a 7-car length lead under braking.
Fellows has been very fast through the inner loop. Look at this. He closes right up.
He's only got a few more corners. He's got really one more straight way to take a shot and keep history for Ron Fellows. Dale could deny the sweep. Fellows won the pole in both the Craftsman Truck Series and the Busch Race. He won the truck race yesterday. He could make the sweep if he can get around Dale Jr. One more corner. I don't think he can do it. There's just not enough time.
Now look at Ron, way too fast into that turn 10.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to pick up career victory number 10, his first on a road course, and he's going to deny Ron Fellows the clean sweep at Watkins Glen. What a finish. The crew ecstatic, and they should be. They know they have just beaten one of the best road course racers. For Jeremy Dale and Amy East and Dave Burns, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Look for Dale's interview in Victory Lane on RPM tonight. So long, everybody.
Lysol 200 turned out to be the hard runner right down the very last lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. passing Ron Fellows past the white flag, under braking in turn 1 of the 11th Watkins Glen road course, and only letting go into the turn line, exiting that corner by 5 fingers with him. And playing over the final couple of miles to score the victory, his third 1999 season, 3 straight wins after getting his other victories at Dover and South in the last 2 events. Fellows will finish second, Mike McLaughlin third, Jack Walton fourth, Jason Keller finished fifth. We'll hear from the winner shortly. First, some of the other top finishers making their way to the 76 gas pumps. And let's go there now to get a comment from hopefully second place runner Ron Fellows.
Well, Ron Fellows is just now pulled in, hasn't pulled off his helmet yet, so we'll swing over to Gary Montgomery, who's with Mike McLaughlin.
Get back with Mike McLaughlin there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to 200 for his lead in the NASCAR Busch Series Championship standings today. Matt Kenseth with the late problems was able to get back with the checkered flag wave will finish 40th, so what was a 64-point lead will grow magnificently here today at the Glen for Dale Earnhardt Jr. with the victory. Let's go to
Open, hold on. All right, hi. Dale, congratulations. First career victory on a road course, your 10th Busch Grand National win. Awesome. You beat the master, Ron Fellows. You have to feel good about that.
He's the master. He's pretty good. We had a good car all weekend, man. I kept messing up, making mistake after mistake in the race. I'm thinking, man, what? I've been practicing all week. We tested here, and here I am out there making a fool of myself. Spun out, lost a lot of spots, kept missing shifts. And then for some reason, the transmission wouldn't stay in second or fourth gear. It'd pop out, so I had to drive the last 20 laps holding it in second and holding it in fourth in the corners and stuff. That's kind of hard, but I had a good car. His car got loose. And you know, we just try to do what we can. I thought he was just riding around, but I reckon he's giving it all he had.
On that last lap, how did you set up that pass? How did you know that you were going to go in there and try to outbrake him on that turn?
We got new Brembo brakes on this car, and they are awesome. I mean, you can't run without them, and we're just real happy. I want to thank Ron Hutter Racing Engines. We messed one of them up in practice. That's my fault, Ron, but this was awesome. Got to say hey to my dad. Hope he enjoyed it. Everybody in Sonoma enjoyed it. Everybody, all my family, we're just real happy, real ecstatic.
Congratulations, Dale. By far, you did not look like an idiot out there. You were awesome. Good job.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. H.C. Delco, #1.
And I'm happy to finish here with a little coffee and big hospitality today. A lot of people here, Group the Sun, and well, we couldn't win the race.
He won it a couple of years ago. Now